So as we all know, Darnell Richmond's the greatest player of all time. You can't find a player better than Darnell Richmond. If you need somebody to score goals, Darnell's going to do that. You need some assists, Darnell's going to do that. You need somebody to throw some massive hits, Darnell will do that. You need somebody to fight somebody, Darnell will do that. This man will literally do anything. Block a couple shots, Darnell Richmond can do that. A 99 stat in absolutely every single category. He is the perfect player. Now we're going to try to break a ton of records here, but these are the main ones. Most goals in a season, most goals all time, most points in a season, most points all time, and most Stanley Cups all time by a single player. We're going to try to do this all with Darnell Richmond today. Now, how are we going to be able to do that with a team of only 50 overall players? Well, we're going to have to rebuild this team. We're not starting with too much here, but the one thing we are starting with, a ton of stick on the ice legends. So if you want to see your name or a name you pick in a future video, then make sure you become a channel member. It'll be the first link in the description, or you can hit the join button down below. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and make some moves and give Darnell some guys to play with. Alright, so we are going to make a couple trades here just because I want to give Darnell Richmond a couple guys to play alongside. So it's going to be a second and Miles over to the Seattle Kraken. Tolvanen and a 4th round pick is going to be acquired here. They're saying it's a little bit low, so we'll throw a 7th rounder in the deal. Or do I really care about the 4th round pick? Like, if I'm being honest, I don't really care too much about that 4th round pick. So maybe we just ask for something else instead. How about you give me a 5th round pick? Because that would be enough to make the difference here. So here we go. Seattle's making that deal. Now apparently we're not close. Okay, that doesn't really make sense. Originally they said we were a little bit off, and then I asked for the 5th round pick, and then we were no longer a little bit off. So here's the 7th round pick, Seattle. That was confusing. Alright, so I think we could use a bit of defensive help here. And Pierre-Olivier Joseph, I think he'd be a great pickup for us. We're going to pick up a couple guys in free agency, but I don't want to pick up too many free agents. I feel like if I just sign a bunch of free agents, that kind of defeats the purpose of only having like 50 overall players. Like, if I was going to just sign a bunch of free agents, I might as well just put the free agents on the team immediately. Pierre-Olivier Joseph, he is going to be joining the team here. We'll go ahead and pick up one goaltender, then we'll make 2 or 3 free agent signings. Now, unfortunately, I can't trade Ricky Lafleur away here. So Storm Wolf, I'm going to have to trade you. It's going to be Storm Wolf, a 3rd and 4th rounder, over to the Washington Capitals. St. Louis Blues legend Charlie Lindgren, welcome to the team. So we're just going to pick up a couple free agents. The first is going to be Kalen Addison. It's going to be $950K for the next couple of years. Pierre-Olivier Joseph, of course, I'm going to keep you around here. We're going to do 2.8 for the next 2 years. That's going to be an incredible deal. And then when it comes to Charlie Lindgren, a stick on the ice legend, a St. Louis Blues legend. You want 4.5 million? Here's 4.5 million. I'll definitely give that to my man Charlie Lindgren. Now, even though we dominated that first preseason game, you might be thinking I'm an absolute nutcase thinking Darnell Richmond's going to be able to break records here. How is he going to be able to break records alongside 50 overall players? Well, obviously, we're going to rebuild the team a bit. But how are we going to break the single season goal record? How are we going to be able to break the all-time goal record, let alone the all-time point record? Well, let's just say maybe some settings have been changed. One massive difference between NHL 24 and NHL 25 is when you set scoring to high, you get high scoring. Like, you get ridiculously high scoring. I saw a simulation when somebody put sim engine scoring to high where Nathan McKinnon put up 150 points, including 79 goals. So keep in mind, we have a 99 overall player with a 99 attribute in every single category. He is going to pick up 160 points once we surround him with good players. And 160 points might be a bad season for this man. You never know, he might pick up 200 points in one season. As long as we surround him with the right players, this team's going to see a lot of success. So with that being said, let's go ahead and simulate the season here. Of course, we're not going to be a good team. Reality's quickly set in. We lost 11-2 in the next game. That's kind of what I was expecting. But no, how did we beat the Washington Capitals? Okay, we scored 9 goals in game number 3. Maybe this team won't be as bad as I thought. Darnell Richmond might be able to lead this team to greatness. We're going to lose a majority of the games, but we might be able to win one here. But while we simulate the season, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Are you a part of the 50% people that aren't subbed to the channel? So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe right now. Also, scoring hasn't been out of hand. We got to pick up the scoring here. Nobody is scoring goals. So now that we have scoring frequency on high, what's going to happen? Well, the Colorado Avalanche are going to borderline score 5 goals per game. Yeah, the Colorado Avalanche almost scored 5 goals per game. We are going to see a team score 5 goals per game throughout this video. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it eventually will. Then when it comes to our team right here, we weren't good. We won 6 games, like 2 in regulation. The boys are getting gassed up here. 1.45 goals per game. San Jose, you should be embarrassed that you only scored this many more goals than us. You scored 99 more goals than us. You should be embarrassed. Meanwhile, out of all the points we scored, Darnell Richmond, of course, is carrying the way here. 50 goals, 33 helpers, 83 points. Now, considering there's only 3 players who aren't 50 overalls on this team, that's pretty successful. Tolvanen Tovan and 74 points. Peter Oliver Joseph's picking up 53 here. You know what? That's going to be a great extension. Tovan's going to be a great pickup as well. Both of these deals are going to work out for us in the long run. When it comes to goaltending, Charlie Lindgren, I mean, you did what you could. Like, there's not a good team in front of you. You can only do so much here. The Colorado Avalanche are going to win the Stanley Cup, but we have to look at a couple things. The first is league scoring. Like, I got to know what league scoring is looking like here. Oh yes, Nathan MacKinnon, 88 goals, 96 assists for 184 points. Also show it to Mikko Rantanen, who picked up 92 goals. This is exactly why I set scoring to high. We are going to see some stupid things happen. Like, very stupid. Nathan MacKinnon was plus 102. Now, I got to look at goaltending numbers. There's no way there's any good goaltenders in the league. Okay, Jacob Markstrom, you are a god amongst men. A 920 and a 237. Nah, bro is him. He is the greatest goaltender of all time. Jacob Markstrom is in the Hall of Fame just because of this season. That is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. And then the postseason, I also want to look at the scoring because I feel like postseason scoring was wild as well. Not as much as I thought. I mean, there's a lot of players over a point a game here, but I was expecting Nathan MacKinnon to have like 60 points in 20 games if I'm being honest. But now that we've seen all that, it's time for us to simulate up to the draft. Now, the draft is going to be incredibly important because we're actually getting the first overall pick. We got the first overall pick for once. We didn't get screwed. Shout out to the simulation for not letting me down for once. This rarely ever happens, but hopefully we get a franchise potential player. I would really like a franchise potential player here. Now, I'm not going to lie. If there's not a franchise potential player, don't be surprised if we make a trade here. Please be a franchise potential player. You'll love to see it. You really do. You'll love to see it. A franchise potential player. Yep, we're drafting this man right here. Without a doubt, we're drafting this man right here. And I'm probably going to trade this man right here. Now, you might think I'm absolutely stupid for wanting to trade a franchise potential player, but do y'all know how many assets we can get for this one franchise potential player? Like, this man right here is bringing in 5 elite players. Like, hypothetically, I could trade this franchise potential player. We bring in Robert Thomas, we bring in Jordan Kyrou, we get the second overall pick, and then we get 2 future first round picks. And because the St. Louis Blues are going to lose these 2 guys right here, there is no way this team's going to be good next season. We're removing 2 of their best players, so we'll get a really high draft pick next season, which ideally becomes the first overall pick. And then with that pick, we can bring in Gavin McKenna. And then for 2027, we hope they're bad again. And then we bring in Landon DuPont. But the only problem with a deal like this is I have to prey on the downfall of the St. Louis Blues. And I don't want to prey on the St. Louis Blues downfall. But you know what? It might be worth it here. I feel like this trade's worth it. We're trading this franchise potential player. They're saying no to this deal, and I'm perfectly fine with that. We're going to wait till they make their selection. Like, they're going to make this draft pick right here. They're going to be bringing this defenseman onto the team, medium league potential. Now we're going to make this trade. And the reason we're probably going to get this done now is that player is going to have significantly less value than the pick did. So if we trade this franchise potential player, are we going to be able to get all of these assets right here? They're saying no because they want a little bit more, and I'm perfectly fine with giving up a little bit more. We're going to be getting a ton of elite players here. Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas. No, this team's really going to be unstoppable. Robert Thomas alongside Darnell Richmond, the dynamic duo y'all didn't think you need to see, but y'all have to see this one because it's going to be so incredibly good. We're going to be a dynasty here. Now, the draft's going to keep paying dividends for us because now we're going to be getting a mediumly potential goaltender. It's just been win after win here. So the re-sign phase is basically a waste of time for us because there's no one we have to re-sign. There are extensions that have to be given out here. We're starting with Tovan. It's going to be 7.5 for the next 5 years. He's going to be an absolute superstar continuing to play on that top line. And then that's all we have to do for extensions. It was literally only that guy. So now we're going to head over to free agency and we're going to make a handful of signings here. This could potentially be a massive steal for us, bringing in Andrei Kuzmenko. Kuzmenko, I'm going to play you on the second line. You're probably going to have Jordan Kyrou as your primary playmaker, and with scoring frequency high, you're going to be potting a lot of goals. The only thing I am a bit concerned about is players asking for a ridiculous amount of money now, because everyone's stats are going to be inflated. So is that also going to inflate the amount of money people are asking for? That could be a little bit tough for us, but you know what? Jonathan Drouin's going to be the next player, 2.8 for the next 3 years. He usually progresses pretty well in this game, so Jonathan Drouin, I think that's going to be an absolute steal. Dante Fabro, I think you could be a really good defenseman for us, especially if you're going to play on the first pairing. I believe that was 2.6 for the next 2 years. But another guy I was looking at, of course, is Will Borgren. You already know what Will Borgren does. He joins my teams. He plays on the third pairing. He holds it down for us every single time. And you know what? We might as well just keep bringing the stick on the ice legend to the team. And I was going to do Perbix, but instead it's Henry Jokiharju. I can't pass up on Henry Jokiharju. 2.5 for the next 2 years. Ryan Suter, I don't really care if you're 40 years old. You got some good years left left in you. That's an absolute lie, but here's 2.5 for the next 2 year. Definitely shouldn't have done a multi-year deal with him, but that's neither here nor there. And then only Matt, I'll do a multi-year deal with you because we could probably do $2 million. So here's $2 million for the next 3. All right, JVR, we need some help on the bottom 6. So here's 1.9 for the next 2 years. You're going to be joining the team next. And then up next is going to be Mason Appleton. You can always sign him for a really cheap price in free agency. It's going to be 2.4 for the next 3 years. So the cheap deals are continuing. It's going to be with Sam Steele next, 2.1 for the next 3 years. That's exactly what you're asking for, so you're going to be accepting immediately. And you know what? I guess we do need a backup goaltender. Shesterkin is available here. Now hear me out. Shesterkin, 7.5 or something. Actually, I can do well more than that. How about we do 7.7 for 1 season? Please say yes to this. We have to influence you to come to our organization. I know you don't have a lot of organizational interest, but I'm going to overpay for you. Did this man immediately reject my offer? Did he actually just say no to my offer? Like, no, I don't want to play for you. How about 7.8 million? Like, what's he thinking when it comes to this? I'll get back to you in a few days. I'm expecting a few other offers too. Bro is just saying no. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why he won't sign a deal. Kevin Lankinen, can I sign you to a 1-year deal? 1.9 for 1 year. Kevin Lankinen's going to be accepting. Okay, I can bring Kevin Lankinen to the team, but I can't Shesterkin. It's not right. Now we're going to make a couple more signings here. The next is going to be Capo Caco. This is going to be a good one. It'll be $2 million for the next 2 years. A little 2x2 with Capo Caco. That's going to turn out to be a pretty good deal. Beecher, we just need some guys on the bottom 6. So here's 1.4 for the next 2 years. And I think Beauvillier will be the final deal here. And this is going to be a great one. 1.65 for the next 3 years. That's a steal. Shesterkin accepted the deal. Even though I didn't think we proposed a deal to him, he accepted it. So Igor Shesterkin is going to be joining the team here. We're set in the goaltending department. Why is this trade value this low though? That is disrespectful. Now, Darnell Richmond, this is going to be a huge year for you. I'm expecting so much here. You, Robert Thomas, and Tolvan on that top line, y'all are going to be producing goals like crazy. You're going to score goal after goal after goal here. Don't be surprised if he picks up 100 goals. I would not be overly surprised if we're going to see this man pick up 100 goals this season. There's nobody going to be able to stop him. So Darnell, we're going to submit it up to the trade deadline. Ideally, you just have 82 goals at the trade deadline. That's not too high of expectations for a guy like you. Like, you are the greatest player of all time. I just want you to perform like it. So right now we're at the trade deadline, 41, 23, and 6. Darnell Richmond has 139 points. Bro has 139 points. He has 106 goals. 106 goals in 70 games. He is only plus 28. Robert Thomas has 95 points. The king. The absolute king in Robert Thomas. You put him with great players, he's going to succeed. But no, 106 goals is wild. Is there anybody else in the league even close to this right now? Nathan McKinnon has 83 goals here at the 63 game mark. We have 139 points. We actually might not lead the league in scoring by the end of this, because Mikko Rantanen's only 10 points behind, and he has a handful of games in hand. He's also on the Red Wings now. The league is very different. I mean, it's not really different in the sense that there's a lot of players that have changed teams, even though there is. The big difference is you have a bunch of players who are scoring a ridiculous amount of points that normally wouldn't score this many points. Like, Kuzmenko's been great. Capo Caco's been really good for us. Sam Steele, 32 points. He's minus 21 though. Not really ideal, but luckily we're outscoring our problems here. And then Shesterkin, you have atrocious numbers. But you know what? Considering everything, these are probably good numbers. Like, scoring has increased so much in the league, I don't even know what good numbers are anymore. So we can make a couple trades here, maybe improve the team. Vince Dunn doesn't want to join the team. Rasmus Anderson doesn't want to join the team. Nick Schmaltz doesn't want to join the team. Okay, there's very few players we can actually trade for here. Tomas Hertl, I wouldn't be against it if we could do something reasonable. I changed my mind. I'm not trading for Tomas Hertl. I don't think we're going to make any trades here. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't want to rush the process here. I don't think we're actually ready to win yet. But then again, we are trying to win as many Stanley Cups as humanly possible at Darnell Richmond, so we got to be competing every single season. So Dante Fabro's value is increased a ton here. So if I package him up with a second round pick, can we get Sean Durzi? If we put Sean Durzi on our top line, he'll keep on getting better. He'll probably get up to an 88 overall. Considering what we have to give up in a deal like this, we're actually getting an absolute steal. Like Dante Fabro and a second round pick for Sean Durzi, I'll take that any day of the week. Well, since Shesterkin has such terrible numbers, we can actually re-sign him here for pretty cheap. It's going to be $5.8 million for the next 2 years. I am perfectly fine with giving Shesterkin that money right there. So the Virginia Vikings, you know what? We were looking really good at the trade deadline. But the one thing that we do have to take into consideration, we played 70 games. We had played like 8 more games than anyone else in the entire league. So finishing 10th here doesn't really surprise me that much. 48, 27, and 7. We were okay after the trade deadline. Weren't amazed by any means, but we weren't terrible. When it comes to goal scoring though, yeah, Darnell Richmond was him. 162 points this season, 124 goals, 38 helpers. Bro doesn't know what passing the puck is, but you know what? That doesn't matter. Also, Robert Thomas, 112 points. let the king cook here. When it comes to goaltending, of course, neither of the goaltenders are going to look good. Like, we just have terrible numbers. That's not much of a surprise here. Like, one of the best goaltenders was Jake Ottinger, and he had an 899 and a 323. Like, there's no way to have good numbers in the league right now. I mean, Stolarz was really good. He had a 908 and a 292. But yeah, there's very few goaltenders with the goals against below 3, and Stolarz might be the only starter. That's how dominant the offense was. And then when it comes to leading the league in points, that's going to be Sam Reinhart, 172 points, 55 goals, 117 assists. Barkov's coming in second, then it's Connor McDavid, then we're going to see our man Darnell Richmond. So although Darnell did set the single season goal record with 124 goals, he's still yet to break Wayne Gretzky's point record, but I think that's going to be happening pretty quick here. Like, we're going to continue to load up that top line. We're going to try to bring another superstar onto the team, but you know what, we're not going to worry about next season yet. We've got to focus on this season and taking the Carolina Hurricanes on the first round. Now, since I set the sim engine scoring to high, I feel like it's kind of unfair if I jump into any of these games. We got to work with the high sim engine scoring, and that scoring is not working out for us right now. Well, it wasn't working for us up until game 3 where we scored 6 goals, but yeah, we have been getting locked down. Like, in 3 of the 4 games so far, we haven't been able to score 3 goals, and that's absolutely ridiculous considering what the sim engine scoring is set to. We're exchanging goals in the first period. In the second, the scoring is going to get started here. Darnell Richmond, where are you? Pick up a hat trick in the third period. I need you to dominate here. Bro really didn't score a single goal. Well, at least he hasn't scored a goal yet. Maybe he's going to pick up the overtime winner, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Never count out Darnell Richmond. Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, they're picking up goals in regulation, but when we need that big time goal, it's going to be Darnell Richmond stepping up. But can he continue to step up? William Carrier is picking up a goal in the first period. Darnell Richmond's going to pick up a goal in the second period, and so is Kuzmenko. We have to hold it down the third period if we want to win this game right here. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're off to game 7. Okay, I'm starting to wonder if sim engine scoring affects the postseason at all. I'm starting to think it doesn't, because a lot of these games have not been high scoring whatsoever. Like, we're exchanging goals in the first period. Each team's going to be picking up 2. In the second period, we're going to be picking up another 2. So we have a 2-goal lead heading into the third period. We should be all right here, and we're going to make that a 4-goal lead. Robert Thomas continuing to pick up goals here. Bro's been the MVP so far. No, but real talk, if you were to send me a screenshot of the postseason right here, I would say it's just set to regular sim engine scoring. Nothing here really seems out of hand. Yeah, we had a couple 6-goal games. Like 3 of the 4 games we won, we scored 6 goals, but I feel like this isn't outlandish. So having a guy like Shesterkin on the team actually might be incredibly valuable, especially if sim engine scoring isn't as notable in the postseason, because now we have an elite goaltender that we're really not paying too much. However, in saying all of that, we do have to go against Andre Vasilevsky in the second round. So yeah, that could be tough. Also, the Dallas Stars were the only favorite to win. We have the number 3 Virginia Vikings taking on number 4 Tampa, number 3 Toronto taking on number 4 Washington, number 3 Colorado taking on number 1 Dallas, so they were the favorite that actually won, then number 3 Vegas taking on number 4 Nashville. How is there that many upsets? So Virginia versus Tampa, this is going to be a great series here. I think sim engine scoring is definitely affecting the postseason, because now that I'm looking at some of these numbers, we're definitely seeing a lot more scoring right now. Once again, we're down 3-1 in this series. We got to make a 3-1 series comeback. But you know what? I take that back. I don't think sim engine scoring affects the postseason. I keep going back and forth with this debate right here, but when I actually look at the numbers, nothing seems unrealistic. Then again, there is a lot more 6-goal games. Shout out to Darnell Richmond, picked up the hat trick in this one. So maybe that's the lone difference. Maybe there's more 6-goal games, but 4-3, 3-1, 4-3. We see a lot of those games when sim engine scoring is just on medium. So maybe you just get the odd 6-goal game a bit more frequent. We're moving into game number 6 here. The boys are still facing elimination, but they still have a chance to make the comeback. We're trailing by 2 goals entering the third period. Just let Darnell Richmond cook. He'll get us back into this game. Never mind, no, we won't. Nick Paul is going to pick up a third period goal, and the boys are falling here. I'm not overly mad we lost in the second round here. Truthfully, I think the second round is actually really good for this team. I think we exceeded expectations. Next season, though, we're looking at a Stanley Cup. No, that ain't right. That's just not right whatsoever. I don't want the Toronto Maple Leafs winning. It just doesn't feel right. So the Toronto Maple Leafs might be winning the Stanley Cup here, but I guess postseason scoring was significantly higher because Darnell Richmond had 21 points, 12 goals, and 9 assists in 13 games here. Robert Thomas, 16 points. Let's look at the rest of the postseason. Maybe I'm just undervaluing a lot of these guys. Yes, I am. Austin Matthews had 41 points, including 23 goals in 23 games. So scoring in the postseason is definitely a lot higher than it normally is. Like, Alexander Ovechkin was one of the top postseason scorers. He played 11 games. He had 7 goals and 16 assists for 23 points, over 2 points per game. I don't know why I didn't think scoring was impacted in the postseason. It definitely was. Like, Matthews had 40 points. Bro was on pace for about 160 points in the regular season if he kept up that pace. Also, we're going to drop from 3 3 to 5 here, but you know what? That's okay. We're going to get the 5th overall pick. We're going to package that up with a couple more assets. We're going to get Gavin McKenna, then we're going to trade Gavin McKenna away. It's all about flipping assets around here. Does Bro not have franchise potential anymore? I haven't really looked at anything since the last roster update, but does Bro really not have franchise potential anymore? No, that's disrespectful. Gavin McKenna needs franchise potential. That being said, there is still a medium franchise potential player available, so we are going to make a move for the 1st overall pick. So if I do the 5th overall and a future 1st rounder, is that going to be enough for the 1st overall pick? They're going to be saying no here. I could trade the 22nd overall pick. Like, I'm not against doing that, so I'm going to offer this package over. Hopefully that's going to be enough. They're still saying no here. Do we have to do 3 first-round picks? 3 first-round picks for a franchise potential player who we could trade for about 6 assets. That would definitely be worth it. They're still saying no. Here's the 3rd-round pick as well. We're giving up way too much in this deal right here, and it's just not going to be enough. So you know what? We're not going to be getting a medium franchise potential player here. I low-key want to get Gavin McKenna, though. Like, Gavin McKenna's got to be a decent overall, and he's got to have decent value still, right? There's no way he only has medium top 6 potential. I'm going to draft Ryan Rubrock. He was projected 3rd overall, but I think we're going to make a trade here. So I'll do the 22nd overall and a future 1st-round pick for the 9th overall. Hopefully Columbus is going to say yes. They're saying it's pretty close, so we'll be able to get this deal done. I'll give you the 88th overall as well. We're going to draft Gavin McKenna here, but no, why does Gavin McKenna not have franchise potential? Like, so far this season in the WHL, he hasn't proved why he shouldn't have franchise potential. Bro has been absolutely elite, so Gavin McKenna, I'm going to select you here, and what do you have? Low franchise. Okay, that deal still worked out for us. He has low franchise potential and he's a 78 overall. You have to give him medium franchise. If he's going to drop to the 9th overall pick with low franchise when he's a 78 overall, yeah, no, that's stupid. That is very dumb. So yeah, we got 2 amazing players here. Definitely worth it. Also, Gavin McKenna, what's your trade value at? Like, it's got to be really high. It should be better than this. Gavin McKenna, you're getting slept on. Now, I guess we're going to keep on getting good players here. Medium top 6 potential, the 121st overall pick. I'm definitely perfectly fine with that. So we don't have any players to re-sign. I'm going to bring our coach back because you know what? He actually hasn't been that bad. Last season, he was looking pretty solid with us. And with the entire team getting better, I'm expecting even better things this season. Now, we have a bunch of extensions that we have to give out. And of course, Darnell Richmond's going to need one of them. But I can't give him an extension right now. Don't know why that is, but I just can't. When it comes to Capo Caco, he's actually a good 2nd-line guy for us. So $4.9 million for the next 2 years. I'm perfectly fine with that deal right there. Pierre-Olivier Joseph, he's a #1 defenseman for us, so we're going to have to pay him accordingly. But $6.6 million, I think that might be a bit too much for an 85 overall, so we might be trading him. Borgren, he's a 3rd-pairing defenseman. He's a great 3rd-pairing defenseman, but not for $4 million. JVR, we're going to let you walk here. Henyoki Haru, you'll probably walk as well. We're going to be losing a couple people. Duffy, though, he's going to jump to the lineup this season. 81 overall. Maybe he's going to be our top defenseman. Okay, I want to try to make some splashes here. Marty Natchez is available in free agency. He's only looking for $11 million. I could probably do $11 million. Also, why is his contract interest not maxed out at $11 million? That's literally what I'm asking for. I am giving him everything he's asking for. But Marty Natchez, $11 million for the next 6 seasons. He's going to contemplate that one. Kirill Kaprizov, we're going to make a play for you as well. So we'll do $12 million for Kirill Kaprizov. Hopefully that's going to be enough to influence him. And then Rasmus Anderson, we're going to make a play for you as well. We're going to make some big free agent signings here, but we're going to have to clear up some cap space. So Rasmus Anderson, I'm going to give you $8 million for the next 3 years. Hopefully you sign immediately. It doesn't look like it. But as I said, we're going to make some trades to free up some cap space. All right, I'm looking at this deal right here to bring in a great defenseman, Mint Yukov. Only $6.3 million for the next 5 years. That's going to be a really good deal, especially if he's a #1 defenseman for us. Kuzmenko and Joseph are going to be sent over. We actually might be able to get something else back in this deal as well. So how about you give me Seneca and we call this a fair deal? I'm going to offer this package over. They're saying no. I actually really want to get Seneca in this deal. I think Seneca could be a great player for us in the future. If we're going to be bringing Kirill Kaprizov to the team, I guess we don't really need Tolvanen anymore, so I could add him into this deal. This is a massive deal with the Anaheim Ducks. They're going to be accepting that one, but we got everything we need here. All right, so we're going to move on to this deal. Oli Mata, Jonathan Drouin are both going to be sent over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're bringing in Gavin Brindley. The main reason we're making this deal is just to free up cap space. So with all the trades we've made, I think we have enough money for Kaprizov, Marty Natchez, and Rasmus Anderson. So we'll simulate a couple days here, and I guess we're going to find out who's going to be joining the team. So here we go. Rasmus Anderson's accepting his contract. Marty Natchez is accepting. Kirill Kaprizov already joined the team. No, he isn't. He's going to be going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's a big loss for the team right here. I was really hoping we would be able to get Kirill Kaprizov, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Now, we might have missed out on Kirill Kaprizov, but you know what? Brad Marchand's got one more good year left in him. He'll join the team for one season. He'll play on the top line, and then we'll go ahead and sign one more young guy here. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a young player. Morgan Frost, I will definitely do this deal without hesitation. 2.7, steal. So here's the lines we're going to be running. Darnell Richmond, Marty Necas, Robert Thomas on the left side. Robert Thomas can basically play any position he wants. That's how good he is. Then Brad Marchand, Jordan Kyrou, Capo Caco, they're going to hold down the second line. The bottom six is looking pretty solid here. When it comes to the defense, what a pickup Rasmus Anderson was, and what a pickup Mint Yukov was. He's got a great fit on the second line here. Yeah, our defense is looking really good. And then when it comes to goaltending, we got Igor Shesterkin, we got Charlie Lindgren. Yeah, this team's looking at 70 wins. And Darnell Richmond, he's looking for 150 goals. So right before the trade deadline here, and of course, Darnell Richmond has to come back to the team, but he's only looking for a 5-year deal. Come on, Darnell, you got to help me a bit more. We will lock you down though, $15 million per year for the next 5 years. That's going to leave us with $1.5 million in cap space heading into next season. But you know what? We can make it work. So after re-signing Darnell Richmond, things look so good I didn't want to stop. And you know what? The team finished out the season strong. 60, 19, and 3, over 5 goals per game. But there is one thing that's a massive shame. Darnell Richmond, he just couldn't do it. He couldn't record 200 points this season, and he couldn't record 150 goals. He was 2 points shy of 200 and 2 goals shy of 150 goals this season. Robert Thomas, shout out to you, 177 points here. You were plus 100. Marty Necas, 158 points. He was plus 85. Nah, the boys were absolutely rolling here. Goaltending doesn't really matter, and that brings up the question, do we actually need Igor Shesterkin on this team? Like, realistically, do we actually need this man? Like, can I just get some 83 overall goaltender, paying him $1 million, and then that's who we use for our goaltenders? We get 2 goaltenders, we pay $1 million to each. I think they would serve the same purpose as the guys we have here. Like, look at the numbers across the league. Nobody has good numbers. Like, how much is Joseph Wall getting paid right now? $3.6 million. I feel like I could get a Joseph Wall type player for like $1.5 million. And then with the scoring being as ridiculous as it is it really going to make that much of a difference? I don't think so. Looking at the entire league, I'm assuming Richmond's leading the way. Of course he is. But Connor McDavid, 178 points. Gotta give respect where respect is due. Bro was absolutely locked in. But was there anyone close when it came to goal scoring? Not really. Nathan McKinnon was the next closest with 106 goals. But there was no one out there that could compete with Darnell Richmond. Darnell's absolutely dominating. We have the Washington Capitals first in the postseason. As long as Darnell keeps scoring, no one's going to stop us. Like, Darnell's really a different beast right now. 5 goals in game number 1, 4 goals in game number 2. And I'm talking about the entire team. I'm not talking about Darnell scoring 5 goals. All I know is we have a 3-1 series lead here, and we're not going to give that 3-1 series lead up. We're going to close it out in game number 5. 9 goals. Darnell's really lighting the lamp right now. Now, I will say one thing about that last matchup. Yeah, we were scoring lots of goals, but our defense was also really good. Like, we really didn't allow that many goals against the Washington Capitals. So Shesterkin, keep on standing on your head. So if the boys keep dominating the way we are, you know what? I think we're going to cruise to a Stanley Cup here. We dropped game number 1, but we're going to respond in game number 2. We're going to drop game number 3, but of course we'll respond in game 4. Game 5 is going to be a big one. The offense has to get flying, and it's not going to be flying here. The offense is actually letting me down here in the second round. It was amazing in the first round, but Darnell, you got to find the back of the net a bit more. So it's time for Darnell Richmond to take over here. It's time for him to score some goals. Where is Darnell Richmond? Well, he's appearing in the second period, and he's going to pick up a hat trick in this game. That's what I'm expecting game in and game out from Darnell. He's got to dominate. So it all comes down to game 7 here. Is Darnell going to be able to step up again? Capo Caco's picking up the first goal, and he's picking up the second goal. Is he going to get a trick in this game? It doesn't look like it, but that's perfectly fine. Darnell was held off the score sheet, but we're still going to win this game. I mean, that might be a lie. Did Darnell pick up an assist in this game? It doesn't look like it. Bro was held off the score sheet, but we were still able to win. So we might be getting Stanley Cup number 1 with the Virginia Vikings as long as we keep on winning here. The boys are looking great, and now we just have to keep on looking great. We got the Toronto Maple Leafs up next. Like, goal scoring has been winning us games in the postseason, so that has to continue here. The Toronto Maple Leafs are frauds. We're dominating them, taking them out in a sweep, and now we're in the Stanley Cup final to take on the Colorado Avalanche. So here we go, the Stanley Cup final. The Virginia Vikings taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Can Darnell Richmond keep on scoring goals here? Of course he can. We're going to dominate this series. We just have to close down one of these next 2 games. Close out in game number 6. What are we doing? Don't blow a 3-1 series lead. You can't do that. Darnell, if we're going to win 11 Stanley Cups with you, you can't lose right here. You have to win this game. This is a must-win for you. We're choking. The boys are choking when it matters most. We're getting absolutely dominated. My heart's broken. We blew a 3-1 series lead. I got nothing to say. Like, what happened to the team? What happened to the Virginia Vikings in that final game? Robert Thomas led the way with 35 points. Darnell Richmond picked up 26 goals. Bro did everything he could. But what happened? It was a massive collapse in Game 7. Igor Shesterkin wasn't even that bad. A 900 save percentage and a 319. These have to be some elite goaltending numbers in the postseason. Like Carter Hart, the man that's beating us. Ain't no way Carter Hart beat us. An 891 and a 329. We had better numbers across the board, but he's going to win that final game. We blew a 3-1 series lead to the Colorado Avalanche. We'll be back, though. I can guarantee you this team will be in the Stanley Cup final next season, but we'll come out on top. Also, we might as well pay attention to the draft lottery results because we still own St. Louis's first round pick, and we're going to get the 4th overall. So a win is a win. Okay, this is huge. There might be 2 franchise potential players here. Landon DuPont's going to drop to number 2. We can get him at number 2. That's assuming he drops to number 2. We're going to simulate 1 pick here. Yep, he's dropping to number 2. Landon DuPont, welcome to the team. We're trading for you. So here's the 4th overall pick and just a little bit more and we'll begin Landon DuPont. So how about we do the 4th overall and Sam Steele for the 2nd overall? Is that going to be enough? They're saying no. How about I give you a future 2nd round pick? I feel like it shouldn't be that hard to move up a couple spots here. We're only moving from 4 to 2, so we shouldn't have to give up too much more. They're saying no. How about I give you next season's 1st round pick? Like, we'll be able to get Landon DuPont and then we can flip Landon DuPont for like $1 million assets. I don't want to give up Capo Caco in this deal. If we have to, I will, because that man's got a lot of value right now, and I think we're going to have to. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Don't judge me. The 4th overall pick in Capo Caco over to Utah. We're going to get the 2nd overall pick. So we got Landon DuPont here, but don't be surprised if we trade Landon DuPont back to Utah. Yeah, I'm kind of cheating the system a little bit, but you know what? A hustler's got to hustle. All right, so here's the deal I'm looking at. Landon DuPont, I'll trade you away. We'll bring in Michael Misa. That's going to be a great pickup for us. Kirill Kristov, he's going to be a great pickup for us. Zane Parekh, an amazing player, and 2 first-round picks, all for Landon DuPont. Yeah, that deal's definitely worth it. That's better than just getting 1 franchise potential player. Also, we're going to keep on cooking here because now we got a medium league potential goaltender. It's just been win after win so far in the draft. We got $11 million in cap space here, but you know what? I think a lot of these guys are going to leave the team. Brad Marchand's not coming back. Borgren, Henry Okiharu, Van Riemsdyk, Beecher, Ryan Suter. Yeah, all these guys are going to leave the team. I mean, John Beecher, maybe we can bring you back. What are you looking for? 1.2 million? I can do 1.2 million for 1 year. That's not a terrible deal. Everyone else, though, they're going to be leaving. So after letting all those guys walk, we do have to turn around and give some extensions. The first going to Sean Dursey here. Sean Dursey's not going to get nearly as much as I thought he would be looking for. We're going to do $7 million for the next 6 seasons. $1 million more than what he's getting paid right now. Sam Steele will ride out your contract. Mason Appleton will ride out your contract. We're just going to ride out everyone's contract here. Gavin Brindley, I guess we could bring you back. You know what? You play some good bottom 6 minutes. And for 1.2 million, why not? Gavin McKenna, barring what your overall's up to, you're probably going to jump into the lineup. Same with Ryan Rubrock. But Shesterkin's the big one here. What's he going to be looking for? $5.8 million again. How about we get that a little bit lower? How about we do 5.6 for the next 2? I know I said I could just replace Shesterkin with somebody else, but you know what? He's only looking for 5.6 million. We can keep on bringing him back. So Jared Spurgeon, this is probably an overpay for you. You're an 82 overall. You're getting $3 million, but apparently you have a great fit on our 3rd pairing, so that's why I'm going to bring you to the team. So I'm looking at making a couple more 1-year signings. This one's going to be Trent Frederick, $2.9 million for 1 season. Then we'll make 1 more deal. I mean, best case scenario, we see a lot of great progression from the young guys over the offseason, and then all of them can jump to the lineup. But Luce Rain, I could definitely do 1.9 million for 2 years. That's an absolute steal. So I guess we're going to keep Sam Steele on the team. It's going to be 2.6 million for the next 3 years. Honestly, that's not too bad of a contract for him. But other than that, we're ready to roll. All right, so the second line might be looking a little bit weak here, but you know what? We got Darnell Richmond, we got Robert Thomas, we got Marty Natchez. That's all we really need here. The defense is looking spectacular. The goaltending is going to be amazing on this team. The boys are looking to make another deep push. We're looking to win the Stanley Cup this time, and we're not going to fold. Actually, I take it back. That's not the team we're going to rock. It's going to be Morgan Frost and Beecher over to the Buffalo Sabres. We bring in JJ Peterka. Then we get a bit of scoring on the second line, because as we saw, the second line is definitely a little weak on this team. But you know what? We'll make a couple trades, and then this team will be in a great spot. I'll throw a 2nd rounder in the deal. That's still not going to be enough. I'll give you another 2nd round pick. We'll bring JJ Peterka to the team. Then we're going to have a bit more offense. Why aren't y'all accepting this? This is a very fair deal I'm offering you. Here's a 3rd round pick as well. Nah, Buffalo's bugging right now. So if I do something like this where I get David Jiricek from the Columbus Blue Jackets, then we can just end up flipping David Jiricek. Honestly, that wouldn't be the end of the world. I would give you John Beecher, but you don't want multiple forwards in this deal. Do we have any defensemen I could actually give up? Not really, so I guess it's going to have to be more draft picks here. I can give up my first round pick for this season. That's not the end of the world, so I'm going to send this package over. They're saying yes. Then we'll circle back over to Buffalo. So here we go. It's going to be David Jiricek and a second round pick over to the Buffalo Sabres. JJ Peterka, welcome to the team. I was fully under the impression that David Jiricek fit their trade block. Apparently not. You're interested in Zane Parekh, but not David Jiricek. Make it make sense sometimes. They're saying no. Maybe I just keep David Jiricek and trade somebody else away. Like Sean Durzee's going to get paid $7 million next season. It's a 1 overall difference, and we would save a bunch more money. So yeah, Sean Dursey, I'm going to send you over in this trade. We'll bring in JJ Peterka. I actually like this deal a bit better. So the Florida Panthers have already clinched a playoff spot at the 65 game mark. They're 50-12-3. Meanwhile, the Virginia Vikings, this team can't win in overtime. I don't know what it is. We can't score 3-on-3. It is what it is. We have a 41-13-10 record. The boys are looking good still. Our defense is one of the best in the entire league, but we got to get the offense going a bit more. Darnell Richmond, you're slacking right now. Only 95 goals. Normally at this point you have 100, so he's letting us down. Robert Thomas, 112 points, letting me down. Marty Necas, he's letting me down. Jordan Kyrie's letting me down. JJ Peterka, you're actually not too bad. Seneca, you're actually not too bad either. But the boys got to step up in these big time moments. Shesterkin's been phenomenal. This man has been looking absolutely elite. We got to win for him. Shesterkin, we're winning the cup for you. So the Virginia Vikings are going to finish third in the entire league. We were still an amazing team, but that Florida team was just something different. 65-14-3. The boys were locked in. Florida was incredible this season. Darnell Richmond, a slow season for you. Bro's washed. 127 goals, 51 helpers, 178 points. He's not what he used to be. He's not that guy anymore. Okay, wait, hold on. We have to look at Darnell Richmond's shooting percentage. Bro has been elite since he's been in the league. I never realized this, but for his career, he's shooting 27.5%. 1 of every 4 shots from Darnell is going in the back of the net. That's wild. If only this man was taking 600 shots a game, he'd be breaking absolutely every record. That's actually insane. Igor Shesterkin, incredible this season at 904 and a 305. He's the reason we were as good as we were, but I have to look at shooting numbers from across the league here. Darnell, 481 shots taken, and that's the most in the entire league by a significant margin. For some reason, I thought there was going to be some guys taking 500 shots here, but nope. Darnell's in a league of his own, and his scoring numbers are definitely going to prove that. But you know what? The regular season scoring doesn't mean anything. This is where it matters. We're in the postseason. We're taking on Toronto. The boys got to go on another deep run. Darnell needs to get his first cup. All right, so Virginia, you got to step up big time here, and that's exactly what Igor Shesterkin's doing. I'm taking it back. I was about to gas up Igor Shesterkin. Then he allowed 8 goals in game number 2, but don't worry, the offense is looking great. We scored 7 goals in our last game, and we're going to score 7 again here. Okay, why are the Toronto Maple Leafs putting up this big of a fight? Toronto shouldn't be able to compete with us right now. We shouldn't be heading to game 7. We're not blowing another 3-1 series lead. We can't do this. We can't blow another 3-1 series lead. We're exchanging goals in the first period. Darnell, you have to wake up. Darnell, I need you to save the day. That really happened. We blew another 3-1 series lead. We've done it back-to-back years now. Ain't no way. I don't even care what the postseason numbers are. I don't care who wins the Stanley Cup here. Right to the draft. We're not wasting any time. Well, this is definitely going to work out for us. Medium league potential player with the 20th overall pick. I will definitely take that. Keep in mind, draft class quality is staying the exact same. That's on medium still. And I still got a medium league potential player with the 20th overall pick. That's wild. Okay, that's even more wild. Another medium league potential player. Who is drafted first overall? We could trade for one of these 2 guys right here. Let's go talk to Nashville. So here's what we're going to do. 2 medium league potential players over to the Nashville Predators for the guy they drafted 2nd overall. And we're also going to get a medium top 6 potential prospect. Maybe we're not getting that prospect, but we're going to get the guy who was drafted 2nd. They want a 7th rounder. I'll give you a 7th rounder. We're getting an absolute stud. Bro's already an 83 overall. We might even let him develop in the CHL for a bit longer. Get him up to like an 85 or something. But you know what? He could jump into the team next season. He might even be a top 6 player for us. Who knows? Now, obviously, we're going to get more elite potential prospects. Now we're getting a low elite potential player with 126th overall. So the low elite potential players keep on coming here. We're getting one in the 5th round, and we might be getting one in the 6th round as well. There's another guy with semi-accurate scouting. He was looking to have low elite potential, so we might be getting another great player here. He's projected 204th. We'll draft him 192nd. It's worth that little bit of a risk, and it's going to work out for us. So obviously Gavin McKenna's going to get his entry level contract. He's a 79 overall, low franchise potential. He'll be jumping into the lineup. Ryan Rubrock, he's going to be jumping into the lineup. We're going to have a handful of young guys making the jump next season. Now there is a couple players we could bring back here, and I wouldn't be against it. Mason Appleton, you want $3 million. I'm not going to do that. Trent Frederick, on the other hand, you're looking for a pretty reasonable deal. Can we do 1.9 for the next 2 years? If you're willing to accept that, I'll bring you back to the team. It looks like he's going to be returning. Beauvillier, Greenway, Jared Spurgeon, I'll let you guys walk because we're going to have some young guys jumping into the lineup. Alright, so we got some decisions to make here. Who's going to be coming back to the team and who's going to be leaving? Rasmus Anderson, obviously I can't trade you away. You got a no movement clause. But do I want to give you $10.9 million? I'm not too sure on that one. Seneca, I would love to keep you around. 22 years old and you're an 87 overall and you're actually looking for a very reasonable deal here. So how about we do 5.5 for the next 5 years? I'm perfectly fine with a deal like that. Lustrain will let you walk. Beecher will probably let you walk as well. Zane Perek, where are you going to be looking for here? If we can lock you down for a cheap price, I'm definitely doing that. Oh yeah, let's do an 8-year deal. If we did an 8-year deal, he's looking for $2.1 million. We can certainly do like $3 million for 8 years. So if we did $3 million for 8 years, actually let's make that 3.3 for the next 8 years. That maxes those contract interest. Zane Preck's coming back at that price. Yeah, that's a steal. And then we'll move on to Duffy here and we'll do $6.5 million for the next 3 years. And then Rasmus Anderson, honestly, we're probably just going to let you walk. JJ Peterka, I wouldn't mind keeping you around, but not for $8.7 million, especially on a 1-year deal. So we'll have to circle back on that contract. Also, Charlie Lindgren, you can walk. We have Shesterkin. So we are going to pick up one guy in free agency, Miro Manoff. You're going to be acquired for $1.9 million. That's going to be a good contract over the next 2 years. Other than that, we're basically running it back with the same team. Now, when I look at a team like this, I have a lot of confidence. Darnell Richmond, Robert Thomas, Marty Necas. Like, the entire top 6 looks amazing. Even the top 9 looks amazing. You know what? The entire forward core looks amazing. However, with our forward core looking this good, people are going to be taking points away from Darnell Richmond. He's not going to be on the ice as much because we can rely on all these guys. And you know what? That might be hurting Darnell Richmond's stats here, but you know what? Bro's still going to pick up a ton of goals. The defense is looking amazing. Goaltending's fantastic as well. We have 0 weaknesses here. We're looking for 60 wins. And also with the team looking as good as we are, and I don't really think we're going to make any trades here, we're just going to get right to the end of the season. No more stopping at the trade deadline. No, this is actually wild. First in the entire league, the Toronto Maple Leafs with 60 wins. Then we have the Rangers with 60 wins. Then we have the Detroit Red Wings with 58 wins. Then the Virginia Vikings. We finished 4th in the entire league with 57 wins. There are many instances where 57 wins would have you first in the entire league, but not this time. The NHL is absolutely loaded right now with amazing talent, and one of those talents happens to be Darnell Richmond. 139 goals, 49 helpers for 188 points. Marty Necas, 152 points. Robert Thomas, 118. Meanwhile, Jordan Kyrou, 75 points and was -2. I mean, to be fair, we all can't be recording 120 points here, but Jordan Kyrou, I was expecting at least a point a game from you. Meanwhile, Shesterkin, 47 wins, 3 shouts, and 893 and a 325. Bro was looking absolutely elite this season, but none of that regular season success matters once we hit the postseason. This is where we need the big time players to show up, and every time we get into the postseason, there's one man that we have to rely on, and his name is Darnell Richmond. 6 goals in game number 1, 4 goals in game number 2. Let's win game number 3 here, and then let's sweep the New Jersey Devils in game number 4. The boys are rolling right now. Now, what an absolute stunner here. Not only did the Toronto Maple Leafs fall in the first round, but the New York Rangers fell as well. 2 of the best teams in the entire league losing in the first round. Even though 2 of the best have fallen, the teams that beat them in the Pittsburgh Penguins and Tampa Bay Lightning, they got to be elite. Like, Tampa's clearly not going to be messing around here. If they took down the New York Rangers, they're going to be an elite team. We're exchanging the first 2 games. We're winning game number 3, but we're dropping game 4 10-3. No, the offense is absolutely flying right now for both teams, but we're going to respond with 11 goals game number 5. Imagine scoring 10 goals in the postseason and then in the next game allowing 11 goals. That's wild. We're moving on to the Red Wings next. The Red Wings obviously were the 3rd best team in the entire league, but you know what? With the way Virginia's been playing, I was about to take back that statement. I thought we were going to lose 3 in a row, but with the way Virginia's been playing, I don't think we can be stopped here. We're winning game number 5 1-0. What a show from Shesterkin. He's holding it down for us. Can we win this game right here? It doesn't look like it. We got game 7 elimination. If we can win game 7 here, we'll be back in the Stanley Cup final, a place Virginia hasn't been in a while. But you know what? We allowed 3 straight goals, but that doesn't matter because we're going to wake up here in the second period. We're going to be scoring 4 goals. Darnell's going to pick up the hat trick in the 3rd period, and the boys are off. Never mind. I got to take it back. Darnell's going to pick up his hat trick in overtime because that's where he's going to step up. We really lost this game. We lost that game. We really lost that game. Like, we made that huge comeback only to lose. No, that ain't right. It really isn't. So the Red Wings would go on to win the Stanley Cup, taking the Vancouver Canucks down in 7 games, but we were that close to making it back to the Stanley Cup final, and there's not too much more we could have done. Darnell Richmond picked up 35 goals and 42 points in 17 games. Bro was averaging over 2 goals per game. That's how good he was in the postseason. Nobody else really scored though. I'm going to be completely honest, it was all Darnell. That man was just picking up goal after goal. Shout out to Jordan Kyrou though, 20 assists. I mean, he held up his end of the bargain here. Marty Natchez was great, Robert Thomas was great. But yeah, we need some more goal scorers on this team. It's kind of funny that I'm saying we need more goal scorers on this team because Darnell Richmond really picked up 35 goals. He is him, the greatest goal scorer we've ever seen, but he just can't seem to win here. Now, I guess we should pay a little bit of attention to the draft lottery because we do have Calgary's pick, and it looks like that's going to turn into the 10th overall. So that trade we made definitely worked out for us. All right, so I want to move up a little bit in the draft here. I want to go from the 10th overall to the 6th overall, and I feel like we should be able to do it with this package right here. So I'm going to send this over. They're saying no. We've got to have a couple good young players on the team, right? I feel like over the past couple years we've done a little bit of drafting, so we should have a couple players here. Like I could throw Sam Steele into this deal because we don't really need him anymore, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to be jumping up to the 6th overall pick, and that means we're getting a medium league potential player here. And you know what? With the way the draft's been looking so far, there's a lot of 80 overalls, so maybe we're going to get an 80 overall player with the 6th overall pick here. He's a 78 overall. Honestly, I can live with that. And it looks like we're not just going to get one medium league potential player, but we're going to get a second one here with the 31st overall, a 55 overall with medium elite potential. No, we've been doing some incredible drafting these past 2 years. No, I might be the greatest GM slash scout of all time. Another medium elite potential player. This one's going to be a goaltender. It's just hit after hit around here. And if it's not a medium elite potential player, I'll take a low elite potential player. We take what we can get around here. However, although we've been getting medium elite potential players and low elite potential players, I think that's all going to end right here. Unless we get a medium league potential goaltender, I highly doubt it. Fringe starter. We can't only get hits around here. You got to get the odd miss. So we have $14 million, so we can bring one of these guys back. It won't be Beecher. It won't be Luosterainen. It might be JJ Peterka, though. How much money is he looking for? $7.9 million. I don't want to give you a full no movement, though. So how about we do no clause and I give you $7.8 million? Instead of giving you a full no movement, is this going to be enough here? I really don't want to give you that no movement. And you know what? It looks like he's going to be sticking around. That's actually going to work out for us. Now, Rasmus Anderson, we're not going to be able to keep you on this team unless you're willing to accept this. But you know what? I'm not even going to offer it to you. We have some good young guys moving up in the system, so we don't really need to keep you around. It's going to be a tough loss for us. I mean, Rasmus Anderson's a great defenseman, but you know what? We have so many young talents on this team. They can find their roles. All right, so I think we can get some really good deals done. Trent Frederick, I'm not going to bring you back to the team. Michael Misa, I'll give you an extension probably in January. Gavin Brindley, I'd like to keep you on this team. And how much are you looking for? $2.3 million. How about we do a 2-year deal at $2.3 million? Actually, we'll do a 2-year deal at $2.5 million. I'll just give you basically what you're looking for here. So Gavin Brindley's going to be sticking around. Christoph, I'm assuming we can get a really good deal done with you. Yeah, we're going to do an 8-year deal at like $2 million. Yes, I'm finessing the game a little bit here, but let a man cook. 2.3 for the next 8 years. A medium league potential player. That's an absolute steal. Michael Misa, as I mentioned, we'll bring you back a little bit later. Shesterkin, where you can be looking for $6.9 million. I think we're just going to trade you away. We're going to trade Shesterkin away here and try to get a different goaltender. Okay, what if instead of bringing Shesterkin back, I give this medium league potential goaltender $4.5 million for the next 4 years. So we'll keep him around. He'll be our goaltender for the future because Shesterkin is turning 34 years old. Ideally, by the beginning of next season, this man's going to be up to an 80 overall. And then after this season, he can take over as our starter. So we got to bring in one defenseman. Michael Bushinger, you're going to be that guy. It's going to be $1.9 million for the next 2 years. You'll play some third pairing minutes for us. That's really all I need you to do. Like, we were an incredible team last season. Everyone's going to be returning here. We're in a fantastic spot. Why would I want to make a ton of changes? Zane Parekh, you're going to have a bigger role this season. I'm really expecting you to start developing pretty quick here. So the team might have taken a slight hit, but you know what? We're going to be running it back with basically the exact same team. The forward core looks amazing. The defense is taking a bit of a step back, but Zane Parekh, you know what? You're getting some second pairing minutes here. You're an 82 overall. You're going to start progressing pretty quick here. And then when it comes to goaltending, Shesterkin, you're an 89 overall. The man that we just gave that massive extension to is up to a 79 overall, so he'll be an 82 by the beginning of next season, and then he'll be able to take over as the starter. Okay, I'm not going to lie, I couldn't be more disappointed with how this season went. Michael Misa still only wants a 1-year deal here. You know what? I'll give you 1 year. We'll do $3.5 million for 1 season. But yeah, this was a very disappointing season. Now, off the rip, you might be thinking, well, why is it such a disappointing season? Yeah, it might suck that you didn't finish first in the entire league. Well, Darnell Richmond, he had a good season, but it wasn't quite good enough here. 199 points. He did have a career high 152 goals though, but 199 points here, only plus 99. Robert Thomas 155 points. Marty Necas 142. How many points does Robert Thomas have for his career now? Bro has 1,082 points. For some reason I thought it was going to be higher than that, but it isn't. Darnell Richmond, how many do you have? You have 1,008 and you've only played 492 games. Yeah, bro's definitely going to break Wayne Gretzky's record. The goal record, he's going to shatter that. The real question is, does he hit 2,000 goals? He might be able to. Shesterkin was pretty solid in between the pipes once again here, but this is who we're really looking at. Our backup goaltender, the 79 overall. He had an 881 to 358. Don't worry, he's going to be better next season. He'll be able to dominate. We got ourselves the New Jersey Devils in the first round. The boys got to win a Stanley Cup here. Darnell Richmond doesn't have a Stanley Cup yet, and that's got to change. So the Virginia Vikings are without a Stanley Cup. Darnell Richmond's without a Stanley Cup here, but that's going to change. For a second, I thought we were going to sweep the Devils, but it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. We're up 3-1 in the series, and as you know, this team will never blow a 3-1 series lead. That's not going to happen. So that was a nice warm-up in the first round, but we're moving on to the second round to take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Over the past 2 years, the Pittsburgh Penguins have looked pretty solid, so we better be ready. Like, the Penguins aren't going to mess around here. They're going to be competing with the best, picking up 6 goals in game number 1. We're dropping 2 games in a row here. We can't be dropping 3 straight. Luckily, we're not, but we are down 3-1 in the series. So Darnell, it's time to take over. Darnell, I need you to pick up a hat trick here. I need you to win us this game right here. I forgot we're going against Kirill Kaprizov. He could have been on the Virginia Vikings, but instead he went over to the Penguins, and Darnell Richmond actually picked up a hat trick in this game. He had a 5-on-5 goal, a shorthanded goal, and a power play goal. Nah, bro's really built different. So when the boys were facing elimination, Darnell's going to step up, and he's going to step up again in this game. It looks like it's going to be Marty Necas and Robert Thomas to start it off. In the second period, we're going to see Darnell Richmond getting on the board. We should win this game right here. Darnell Richmond's picked up another goal. So is Robert Thomas. We're dominating this one 8-3. But you know what? Game 7's the only important one. So here we go. Game 7 between Pittsburgh and Virginia. Who's going to show up when it matters most? We're exchanging goals in the first period. In the second, it's going to be the bottom 6 carrying the way for us. Darnell's not even picking up a goal in this game, but it doesn't matter. We're winning at 4-2 and we're off to the conference finals. After a massive comeback like that, this team's not going to slow down. I can guarantee you we win the Stanley Cup this season. But maybe not. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. We have the Detroit Red Wings up next. Our biggest ops. We're going to get our revenge here. We're taking game number 1. We got to take game 2. That's what we're doing. Are we going to sweep the Red Wings? It doesn't look like it, but a gentleman's sweep will take them down here, and we're going to be moving on to the Stanley Cup final after we win game number 6 here. We're not doing this. We're not blowing a 3-1 series lead. We made a 3-1 series comeback. I'm not blowing a 3-1 series lead. We're not doing that. We're exchanging goals in the first period. It's time for Darnell Richmond to take over. I need somebody to score goals here. Darnell's going to be picking up a massive goal here, and that one's going to give us the lead. And as long as we play great defense here, we're going to win this game. And you know what? It was good enough defense. We're exchanging goals and we're in the Stanley Cup final. So here we go. It all comes down to one final matchup against the Colorado Avalanche. The boys are rolling, but you know what? It's been a close series. Game 5 is the most important one we've seen yet. We're going to win that one in overtime. Darnell Richmond close it out in game number 6 here. Why do we have to go to game 7 again? I hate going to game 7. Just don't go to game 7. Just close it out in these important games and we'll be all right. But game 7 is the important one now. Darnell Richmond's picking up a goal in the first period. It's going to be a scoreless second. Richmond, I need the greatest game from you ever. I need an incredible game from Darnell Richmond. Can he do it? We're exchanging goals. The overtime winner has to come from Darnell Richmond or Seneca. I'll take an overtime winner from Seneca, but in the most important game, Darnell did kind of fold. Maybe he's not that guy we thought he was. But who cares? We're finally Stanley Cup champions. Darnell's getting his first here. An overtime victory in game 7. I think we set records here. Like, we played a lot of games in the postseason, but I thought the numbers would be better. I'm not going to lie, Darnell, you're kind of washed. Like last season, you had 5 less points in the postseason, but you played 9 less games. You had more goals last postseason than this postseason, but you know what? We had scoring throughout the entire lineup. We had some big-time players making some big-time plays here, and because of that, we're Stanley Cup champions. Shesterkin did it in his final season, but look at our backup, a 944 and a 192. Bro's going to be taking over next season, and he's going to lead us to greatness. Now, I thought this goaltender was going to have medium league potential because he was also a gem, but you know what? I'll take a 70 overall with medium starter. If he's starting off as a 70 overall, more than likely he'll turn into a pretty solid goalie. So we're going to sign a couple of rookies to their entry-level contract here, but Trent Frederick, you are going to be leaving the team. Miro Manoff, you're going to be leaving as well, because I don't really want to re-sign you. You're 32 years old, and you're just going to keep on getting worse here. But you know what? Not making any re-signings here is probably the best thing, because we got to make sure we have some money to work with. Also, Shesterkin, thank you for all the amazing years here, but it's time for us to move on. Now, we got got some difficult decisions to make here. Robert Thomas, you're 30 years old. You're a 94 overall. You're an absolute superstar. Do I want to commit $15.6 million to you? Absolutely. It's Robert Thomas we're talking about. Robert Thomas, I'm keeping you on this team. $15 million for the next 8 years. Robert Thomas, an absolute superstar. But $15 million when basically everyone on this team wants $10 million, it's going to be tough. Jordan Kyrou, we are going to trade you away. I'm not going to bring you back to the team here. We got to free up some money. Michael Misa, maybe you're going to turn to a top 6 player for us. I know for a fact this man's going to turn to a top 6 player for us pretty quick here. But even him, I can't really give him an extension to because I can't afford it. Gavin McKenna, I'm assuming I can get you pretty cheap here. Yes, I can. It's going to be $2.1 million for the next 3 years. So that's a steal. Ryan Rubrock, I don't think you've even played a game for me yet. Maybe you have. I'm not too sure. But you're looking for $4.3 million. I can't do that right now. So yeah, the team's kind of in a tough spot here when it comes to the salary cap situation. Not too much we can do. Like, this is why I'm thinking I should trade Robert Thomas away. Look at that trade value. I could get so many good players for him. Like, even Mintyukov, I could get a lot of really good players for him. This is a tough decision. Now, Robert Thomas, you're my favorite player, and you've been a historic player for this franchise right here. You're going to have your number retired with the Vikings. That's how good of a player you were. You were here for 5 seasons, but you averaged over 120 points per season. That's how good you were. You helped us win our first Stanley Cup in franchise history. But you know what? Times have changed here. I can't afford to give you $15 million. So Porter Martone, Jackson Jacobson, Karen, and 2 first-round picks can be acquired in this deal. They want a little bit more. I'll give them a little bit more. Here's our first-round pick. We'll exchange first-round picks in a deal like this. We got to get this done. Okay, maybe we don't get all these first-rounders. How about we just get 1 first-round pick? They're saying no to that. Okay, let's get this deal done. Here's my first-round pick. Let's exchange first. They're saying it's a little bit low. I'll give you a third-rounder as well. But Robert Thomas, thank you for all the amazing years. You'll never be forgotten. Alright, in my eyes, this is an absolute no-brainer. Mintyukov over to the Chicago Blackhawks. We get Shea for $6 million for the next 6. Levshunov, 4.4 for the next 3 years. This combined salary is still less than what Mintyukov is looking for. And we're also going to get 2 first-round picks as well. Maybe not 2 first-rounders. Actually, we are going to get 2 first-rounders. So let's just trade my first-round pick away. We know these first-round picks are way more valuable than my first-round pick. So yeah, let's just flip first-rounders. So I'll give you a third rounder as well. This deal is going to be accepted. We're making big time moves here. We're making the team significantly better. So after trading for Jackson Jacobson, of course, he's coming back to the team. $4.2 million for the next 4 years and an 86 overall. He'll probably play on the top line. That's an incredibly cheap contract. Now, Jordan Kyrou, we just got to trade you away. Now, on paper, this might seem like a really stupid deal, but the Calgary Flames, I don't think they're a very good team. So Jordan Kyrou straight up for their first round pick, I think that's going to work out for us in the future. Like, if they turn out to be a really bad team this year and that ends up being an elite pick, then we look like absolute geniuses. If it ends up being the 32nd overall pick, then I'm an idiot. So I think it's safe to say our team's even better than last season. Even after all the guys we've lost, I think we're actually in a better spot here. The defense is absolutely phenomenal. The forward core is amazing. Even goaltending-wise, Bro's up to an 83 overall. He's living up to the hype here. That contract's going to age incredibly well for us. Yeah, we have a 76 overall as the backup, but we're not going to worry about that. Virginia's ready to win. We're looking to go back-to-back here. And with Darnell Richmond leading the way, nothing's going to be able to stop us. Except the salary cap, because you know what? We really don't have that much money to work with here. Like David Jiricek, I want to bring you back to the team, and how much money are you looking for? $10.2 million. We can't do that. So we are going to lose a handful of these guys heading into next season. But you know what? It's just the way she goes. So for the 3rd year in a row, we're finishing with 57 wins. However, there is one main difference. First in the entire league this time. The boys were absolutely flying. And Darnell Richmond, 191 points here. 147 goals, 44 helpers. You know what? All these new additions stepped up when they had to. Porter Martone, 145 points. Jackson Jacobson, what a pickup, 105 points. Marty Nate just got moved down to the second line, but you know what? He still looked amazing, picking up 103 points. He knows what his role is on this team, and he's going to be succeeding there. When it came to goaltending, Yusuf Son, I thought you were going to be holding me back a little bit, but you know what? You did the exact opposite. You stepped up when you had to. 49 wins, 4 shutouts, an 881 to 360. The postseason's coming around. The boys won a Stanley Cup last season, so obviously we know what the goal is this season. Go back to back. Okay, so the goal is to go back to back, and we've dropped 3 straight games. You better not get swept here. We're not getting swept, but things certainly aren't looking good for us. Why are we getting dominated by the Toronto Maple Leafs like that? We finished first in the entire league. Darnell Richmond, it's time for you to wake up. You got to start scoring some goals here, and that's what you've been doing. We're off to game 7 now. We're about to make a 3-0 series comeback, and it's all led by Darnell Richmond. Bro was sleeping in the first 3 games. He didn't realize that we were supposed to score goals here, and ever since he realized he had to start scoring goals, that's what he's been doing. Yeah, Bro's casually just picked up 4 goals so far, and we're entering the 3rd period, and in the 3rd period he picked up another goal. 5 goals in this one. Darnell's like, nah, it's time for me to take over. So we've won 4 straight games. We made a 3-0 series comeback. I don't want to stop right now, especially after a Darnell Richmond 5-goal performance. Nah, this team's not going to lose again. We are never going to lose again. We've won 8 straight games now. We're off to the conference finals. Darnell Richmond just keeps on scoring goals here. Bro's really built different. Can we win another 4 games in a row? Can we make it 12 straight wins for the Vikings? If we win 12 straight games here after losing the first 3, that's going to be wild. But you know what? We got a 3-1 series lead. It's not going to be 12 straight wins, but we are going to close this out in 6 games because we don't want to go to game 7. Of course, we're off to game 7. But you know what? I'm still not worried. You know why? Because last time we were in game 7, Darnell Richmond picked up 5 goals, so he's going to light the lamp again here. But maybe Darnell Richmond doesn't have to because we're finding other guys that can step up. Richmond is going to pick up 1 goal in the 3rd period, but it's not going to matter. We're dominating this one 6-1, and we're back in the Stanley Cup final. So here we go, the Stanley Cup final. With the way the Vikings have been playing, I don't think there's going to be any team in the league that can beat us. But you know what? The Edmonton Oilers are putting up a pretty solid fight, but wait for Darnell to take over. We're winning game number 5. We're going to win game number 6, and it's all because of Darnell. Never mind, we need game 7 yet again. We're off to our 3rd game 7 of the postseason. We play a lot of games here, and Darnell, he's always stepped up in the big time moments, but maybe not. Tyson Forrester, Kirby Dach, they're the guys potting goals right now. Kirby Dach's got 2 goals in this game. Tyson Forrester's got another 2. McDavid's got 1. We're not making the comeback, are we? We're getting dominated in game number 7. Did we just blow a 3-1 series lead? It wasn't a 3-1 series lead, but we did lose in game number 7. With the chance of going back-to-back, the boys folded when it mattered most. But considering we were down 3-0 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, okay, I am so sorry, Darnell. 41 goals, 10 assists, 51 points in 25 games. You averaged over 2 points per game, had 6 game winners, 14 power play goals. I can't expect more from you. This is literally all you can do. This team has to win based on their offense, and they weren't able to do that. Darnell did absolutely everything in his power. Yusufson, I really can't complain about your numbers. Like an 892 and a 336. These aren't bad numbers. These are actually probably really good numbers considering what the league's looking like right now. Stuart Skinner was slightly better. Like, we really lost to Stuart Skinner. Yeah, I don't want to see that anymore. We're not losing to him. Now, I really want to be happy about this. Getting the 4th overall pick from Calgary and the 10th overall pick from Philly. But we just lost in the Stanley Cup final. So although we are seeing a handful of W's here, I just can't really celebrate it. Like, we lost in the Stanley Cup final. So Corbett's going to be brought to the team with the 4th overall pick. He's going to be a sniper. Starting off as an 80 overall, that's going to be really good here. But I think the rest of the draft class outside the top 4 is not really looking super here. I mean, maybe we can move up to the 5th overall pick, but I'm not sure if that's really going to be worth it here. Considering what's available around the 10th overall, we might as well trade for the 5th. So as we know, Seattle did have the 5th overall pick, but I didn't actually trade for the pick. We're just going to trade for the player because I think it's going to be significantly easier. Like, I offered the 10th overall and the 19th overall, and that wasn't enough for the pick. However, I think we can get the player for that. So how about we do this? I get the medium league potential player and I get a high top 4 potential player. Is that going to be enough? I'll give you the 10th overall and the 19th overall. They're saying no. I'll take the high top 4 player out, and then we'll see if we can get this deal done. I offered this exact same package for the 5th overall pick, and they said no, but I can get the actual player for that package. It doesn't make sense. So on top of getting 2 amazing players with the 4th overall and 5th overall, we're also going to get a low league potential player with the 197th overall. All right, David Jiricek, hopefully you're going to be reasonable here. I do want to bring you back to the team. You're probably going to be looking for a no movement clause. Of course you are, but honestly, that's not the end of the world here. David Jiricek, the newest member of the Minnesota Wild, because that trade's officially gone through. When I started this video, the trade didn't happen, but yeah, it's happened now. Michael Misa, I want to bring you back to the team, but we only have $6 million to work with here. You're looking for 6.2. Technically, we could get this deal done, but I'm not too sure if I want to pay you that much. We're definitely not going to be able to afford this guy right here. He's looking for 7.4 million. We'll qualify him as an RFA and then trade him away. Ryan Rubrock, we're probably not going to be able to keep you on this team. 3.9 is not terrible, but it is only a 1-year deal, so I'll qualify you and trade you away. So we do technically have enough money for Michael Misa, but does he actually fit on this team? So after consideration, Michael Misa, it's going to be $6 million for the next 3 years. You're going to stick around here. Marty Natchez, more than likely, you're going to be walking here. 12.8 million. You're going to be turning 33 years old. I don't really know if I want to do that deal. Also, Darnell Richmond's looking for a new contract here. He wants $18 million for 1 year. Obviously, I'm not doing a 1-year deal with him. We're going to hold off a little bit, and we're going to get that a bit lower. Also, Duffy, I wouldn't mind bringing you back to the team. So Duffy's going to return. Richmond's going to return. And then Marty Natchez, we're just going to have you walk. All right, so I'm going to do this deal with the Seattle Kraken. Hodgson, you're going to be brought to the team here. You have 2 years left on your entry level contract and you're an 88 overall. Yeah, this is going to be an absolute steal for us. 1 for 1. These guys don't know what they're doing. So we're going to make one last trade here. Kavanov's going to be acquired from the Boston Bruins. Ryan Rubok's going to be shipped over. Kavanov, 2 years left on his entry level contract. He's going to be a good third pairing guy for us. Now, this team's actually looking so elite. It's ridiculous. We're going to have to throw a second round pick into this deal, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Honestly, I don't even care what we have to throw into this deal. I just want to get it done. So we'll do multiple second round picks here. We're probably going to have to throw a first rounder in, but never mind. No, we aren't. It's just going to take a lucrative 7th round pick. A lucrative 7th round pick is always making the difference here. The boys are ready to run it back, but this time we're going to win. Okay, now this might be arguably one of the best teams I've ever constructed. Like, this entire forward core is absolutely amazing, and we have guys who are healthy scratch right now that shouldn't be healthy scratch. That's how good we are. Levshinov, why would I not want you on the second line here? Yeah, we don't have the greatest fits on the third pairing, but who cares? We have superstars on this team. Goaltending wise, we're looking amazing here. This team's just going to keep on winning. I mean, I technically shouldn't say we're going to keep on winning because we haven't been winning here. We're going to turn things around, though. So this was a historic year for the Virginia Vikings. First in the entire league, a 60-19-3 record. But he did it. He finally did it. Darnell Richmond, 205 points this season, a career season, 157 goals, 48 helpers. Bro was locked in. But not only was he locked in, the entire team was. We had amazing scoring from top to bottom. That really shouldn't be much of a surprise here. Goaltending numbers, they were looking spectacular this season, but none of this matters. We need that elusive Stanley Cup, but there's one thing that we have to do first. And what is that thing? Well, making sure Darnell Richmond returns to this team because he's very needed on this team. $19 million for the next 8 years. I want to do a bit less than that. Can we do $18 million for the next 8 years? Actually, can we do even less than that? Can we do $17 million? I think we might be able to do $17 million for the next 8 years. And since Darnell is a key piece of this team, we're giving him a no movement clause. We're keeping him around no movement for the next 8. This is a huge deal for Darnell. But you know what? He's going to be accepting that one. Also, Duffy, I want to bring you back to the team. What are you looking for? $14 million for one season. We can't do 1 year. We just can't do 1 year here. So Duffy might be leaving the team. Now, I can't lie to you. Losing a guy like Duffy would definitely hurt this team a lot. Darnell Richmond's going to be accepting, so he's sticking around for the next 8 years. Darnell Richmond, of course, the greatest player of all time. There is no player in NHL history that can even compete with what Darnell Richmond's doing. He's going to break the goal record. He's probably going to break the assist record. Okay, that's a bit of a lie. He's definitely not breaking the assist record. He picks up 150 goals per season and 40 assists. He's not breaking the assist record, but you know what? He might score more goals than Wayne Gretzky has assists, and that's how you know Darnell's the greatest player of all time here. We have a 3-1 series lead against the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're going to take down the Penguins, and now we're moving on to the conference finals. After this win in game number 6, we decide to give them game number 5, but we're going to close it out in game 6. So we've got to the conference finals. The Red Wings are up next. With the way Darnell Richmond's been scoring, there's no team that can compete with us. We're going to take the Red Wings down to sweep here, and we're in the Stanley Cup final. We've made it back to the Stanley Cup final, but we got ourselves a familiar foe in front of us. Now, who are we going to be taking on? I think you all know who we're taking on. It's the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid versus Darnell Richmond. Two great players battling it out here. We can't lose to the Edmonton Oilers again, though, and we won't be. We have a 3-1 series lead. Close it out in game number 5. Darnell's got himself a Stanley Cup. The greatest player of all time just got himself a Stanley Cup. The legacy continues to grow. So Darnell Richmond, absolutely fantastic. 23 goals, 10 assists, 33 points. Not his usual self in the postseason. Normally he's picking up 35 goals, but he was still incredibly dominant. When it comes to goaltending, Yusuf Son, absolutely amazing. A 16-3 record, a 900 save percentage, and a goals against of exactly 3. Bro was him. But Darnell, is that your first Stanley Cup? I don't believe it is. I'm pretty sure we won one with Igor Shesterkin. I'm just going to double check that. That's your second Stanley Cup, second Conn Smythe. You have 4 Hart Memorials, 6 Ted Lindsays, 5 Art Ross, 7 Maurice Rocker Richards, 2 Frank Selkes, and 2 Lady Bangs. Bro's already guaranteed the Hall of Fame, and he's only 26 years old. He's literally him. Also, on top of all those amazing numbers, he also cracked 1,000 goals this season. 1,000 goals by 26 years old. Based on how his career's been going so far, don't be surprised if he reaches 2,000 goals. So last season, we couldn't celebrate getting great draft picks because we lost in the Stanley Cup final. This season, though, we can definitely celebrate. We got the 16th overall pick from Chicago. Now, before we get into the draft, we might as well just figure out with Duffy what's going to be happening here. Is he going to be returning to the team? Is he signing a reasonable deal? I don't want to do 1 year at $15 million. I really don't. But you know what? You are an amazing player. So how about we do 1 year at $14 million? I mean, are you willing to accept that? Yes, he is. We could probably do 13.5 for 1 year. Like, Duffy is one of the best defensemen in the league right now. So 13.5 for 1 season. He'll be accepting that one. But now that we know he's coming back to the team, we can head to the draft. Okay, so we're just going to finesse teams here because the 16th overall pick has so much value. I'm going to send that over to the LA Kings. Not only are we going to be getting an amazing prospect they drafted last season, we're also getting an amazing prospect they drafted this season. So 2 great prospects for the 16th overall. Where'd they draft Char? They drafted him pretty high up here. Where did he get drafted? 5th overall. I trade the 16th overall pick for the guy they drafted 5th and a guy they drafted in the top 10 last season. A finesser's got a finesse. Now we are going to finish this draft off with at least one medium league potential player. That's coming with 198th overall. We're getting a medium league potential goaltender. So we are going to lose 2 key players, Gavin Brindley, Marty Natchez, but we are getting a bunch of rookies here. None of them are ready to jump to the lineup quite yet, but at least we've got some young guys in the system. Now there's a handful of guys that are going to be traded away here. Levshunov, I think we might trade you. I don't really know what you're going to be looking for when it comes to a contract. Yeah, I can't do $13 million. I could do like 8, but I can't do 13. JJ Peterka, I'm going to trade you away here. Hodgson, I wouldn't mind keeping you around, but I don't think we're going to be able to. You're an 88 overall at 20 years old. You're going to be looking for a bag. 5.7 million. That's not atrocious, but you know what? It's not a long-term deal. Karen, we could probably do a somewhat cheap deal for you, 4.2 million. But even that's not the greatest in the world, especially considering you're playing bottom 6 minutes right now, so you won't be sticking around. Or maybe you move up in the lineup. Because if JJ Peterka is leaving, you can move up in the lineup. Yeah, let's try to get a good deal done with you. Like, Karen, what if we did something like this? We do 7.5 for the next 8 years. I'll give you a full no movement clause. 7.5 for a top 6 guy is actually an incredible deal. He's going to be accepting. Are we going to have enough money for Duffy? I'm actually not too sure now. I assume we have enough money for him. We're going to have $20 million in cap space. Most of that's probably going to go to him. So yeah, we're going to have to make some moves here. JJ Peterka, I'm going to trade you away. We'll try to bring in another young rookie. Or I might just write out your contract. You and Levshunov, I'm writing your contracts out. So Darnell Richmond and the Virginia Vikings were able to win a Stanley Cup last season. And to me, there's no reason why we shouldn't be winning one this season. The team's looking just as good, if not better. Yeah, we're going to dominate once again. Also, when it comes to goaltending, Yusufson's now the backup and Smirnov's our number 1 and 86 overall. That works out for me. I can definitely rock those 2 goaltenders right there. The only problem is Smirnov's definitely not coming back to the team next season. We're not going to have money for him. Now, if you thought last season was historic, this one was even better. Not only did we win 65 games here, but we did something even more spectacular. Darnell Richmond, 1 of 1. Never seen before, never going to be seen again. 179 goals, 40 assists, 219 points. He's officially broken Wayne Gretzky's record for most points in a season. He's him. Plain and simple, Darnell Richmond's him, and you will never find another player like Darnell Richmond ever again. He was plus 125 this season. His career plus minus 608. 1,200 goals, 400 assists exactly, 1,600 points, all of that in 738 games. He's over 2 points per game right now. Nobody can even compete with Darnell Richmond. And to cap it all off, both of our goaltenders had a goals against below 3. This shouldn't be possible with the amount of goals being scored in the league, but it is. The Virginia Vikings are moving on to the playoffs. You have the New York Rangers in the first round. Let's complete history here. So the Virginia Vikings are on the verge of history, going back to back. But Darnell Richmond, we've got to win you a Stanley Cup this season. You just did the impossible, breaking Wayne Gretzky's point record. We have to win you a Stanley Cup. A sweep over the New York Rangers to start. The boys aren't going to mess around here. The Virginia Vikings are going back to back. I refuse there's any team that's going to be able to stop us. We have the Columbus Blue Jackets up next. If the New York Rangers couldn't stop us, the Columbus Blue Jackets aren't going to have a chance here. We're winning game number 1. I'm assuming that we're winning game 2. Is it going to be a sweep over the Blue Jackets? It doesn't look like it. But you know what? We got ourselves a 3-1 series lead. We'll just close down game number 5, move on to the conference finals. That's something the Virginia Vikings are amazing at. This team can't stop. They won't stop. The Detroit Red Wings up once again here. Every time we take on the Red Wings, we're coming out on top, and that's going to be happening again here. We just have to win game number 5. If we win game number 5, we're going to be in a great spot. Unfortunately, we're not in that great spot. We have game 6 elimination. Don't lose against Detroit. Whatever you do here, don't lose against the Red Wings. Darnell Richmond can't go out like this. Darnell Richmond can't fall in the conference finals. In a year he broke Wayne Gretzky's point record. That can't happen, but it is going to happen. We're losing this one 2-1. Darnell Richmond was held off the score sheet. That didn't just happen. Bro didn't just pick up 219 points only to lose in the first round. That didn't happen. Like, Darnell Richmond really picked up 219 points during the regular season. 15 goals, 7 assists for 22 points in the postseason. Our goaltending must have been atrocious, but I don't even think it was that bad. We lost to the Red Wings. They stepped up when it mattered most. We weren't able to answer for them. The Nashville Predators are going to win the Stanley Cup, but in a year we had a chance to repeat. Darnell Richmond had a chance at his 3rd Stanley Cup, and a record-breaking season like this, a historic season, He couldn't close it out. He just couldn't win that important game. No, that breaks my heart right there. But you know what would break my heart even more? Duffy not re-signing to the team. Bro, you better sign a reasonable contract now. I know you don't want an extension, but I don't really care that you don't want an extension. I need you to stick around here, and honestly, this isn't too bad of a deal. So if we do $13.1 million for the next 6 seasons, that's going to leave us with $6.9 million to work with. If the salary cap goes up a little bit, barring what Lev Shanov's looking for, we might be able to keep him on this team. We might be able to make that work. Lev Shanov, you might be returning to the team. What an absolute steal with the 31st overall pick. We just got an 81 overall player. Bro's an 81 overall with medium top 6 potential to start his career. What an absolute steal we just got here. And the boys are just going to keep on winning. Now we're getting a mediumly potential goaltender starting off as a 62 overall. Yeah, this team's never going to take a step back. We're going to have young guys jumping into the lineup. We're going to be looking good forever. So we got $10 million to work with here. JJ Peterka, you are going to be leaving the team. I don't really plan on bringing you back here. We got a couple young snipers that can move up to the lineup. Lev Shanov, I wouldn't mind keeping you on the team. I'm not going to lie. I think you'd be a great player. But $12.8 million, we can't do that. So he's going to be walking. Hodgson, what are you going to be looking for? Can we do a reasonable deal with you? You want $14 million? No, this team's in a lot of trouble right now. I mean, I say that like we don't have 2 mediumly potential players jumping into the lineup next season. We're going to be all right. I mean, we do have this young defenseman right here, and he's not looking for too bad of a contract. We could probably do $6.6 million. I think that's pretty fair for him. So hopefully he accepts that. Yes, he is. We're looking great right now. And then we'll give these 2 rookies their entry-level contract. The boys are back and they're ready to roll again. All right, now we have a lot of guys needing extensions here, and there are a lot of big-time players for us. Portland Martone, you've been playing some top-line minutes. You're probably going to be looking for a hefty deal. Do I want to give you $14 million? Not really. I feel like we can find a better replacement. Maybe Hodgson does stay on this team. We trade Portland Martone away. He moves up in the lineup. That actually might not be a bad move. How much is he looking for? $15 million? That is really expensive. Okay, I'm taking all that back. He's actually not going to be moving up in the lineup. Seneca, what's he looking for? $11 million? I mean, maybe you could play on the top line now. Like, I give Seneca around $10 million. He moves up in the lineup, plays on the top line, but we don't really need him on the top line. Yeah, let's make some trades here. So we know Michael Misa is going to be looking for a bag, but I could flip him over to the Philadelphia Flyers. We bring in Fritz. He's under contract for the next 3 years at $2 million. He could be a good bottom 6 guy for us, maybe even a top 6 player. And at that contract, honestly, it's going to be worth it. We'll try to get a 3rd round pick as well, but if we can't get the 3rd rounder, I'm not against it. Actually, we might be able to get a 2nd round pick in this deal, so I'm going to offer this over. They're saying no. I'll turn that 2nd into a 3rd. If they don't accept it, we'll just go 1 for 1. So here's Anaheim's 3rd round pick. Is this going to be a fair deal? They're saying no to that. We're just going 1 for 1 here, and we're going to get this deal done. So here's what we're going to do. Hodgson's going to be sent over to the Carolina Hurricanes. We're getting 2 mediumly potential players and a 1st round pick. I think this is a pretty fair deal. I think we're coming out on top here. They're going to be saying no to that one. But what if I give you a 2nd round pick? Like, I'll give you a 2nd round pick, but I really want your 1st rounder. Maybe we have to exchange 1st round picks. I mean, considering we're going to be an elite team, I'm perfectly fine with exchanging 1st round picks, and that's what we're going to do. All right, so just looking at goaltenders in the league now, once we get past Jake Ottinger, there really isn't any superstars left in the league. I mean, you have Jesper Wallstead, you have Spencer Knight, you have Ashcroft, but Ashcroft's 31, Knight's 32, Wallstead's 30. Once we get down to the younger guys here, they're basically capped at 85 overalls. So how good of a goaltender do we actually need then? Like, if an 85 overall goaltender is really the best in the entire league, if I were to hypothetically bring in Joey Daccord to be our starting goaltender, or even bring Shesterkin back, 81 overall, only $2.5 million, that's really cheap. So yeah, Shesterkin, I'm going to bring you in to be the starting goaltender, $2.5 million for next season. Joey Daccord, I'm going to bring you here to be the backup, 81 overall as well. It's going to be $1.4 million. We're going to make it work with these 2 goaltenders. So we actually have quite a bit of cap space heading into next season. So Seneca, maybe you are going to come back to this team. I had my doubts about you, but you know what? We can do $10.5 million. Actually, let's make that $10.7 million. We've got your contract interest pretty high, so that should be enough to keep you on the team. Pablo Kessler, we're going to do an incredibly risky deal here. We're looking at 8 years. Actually, we're going to do a bit less than 8 years. How about we do 7 years at $3.9 million? And on top of that, what if I give you a no movement clause? This is going to be a massive risk. If it works out for us, it's going to be great. But $3.5 million for the next 7 years, a no movement clause, that deal better work out for us. Now, considering we are building a super team here at St. Jacques, I wouldn't mind keeping you around. If I did 3 years, we'd lose your RFA rights. But if we only did 2 years, we could sign you for $3.8 million. So yeah, St. Jacques coming back to the team. That's going to be a great deal for us. We're going to be one of the best teams once again, aren't we? Gavin McKenna, I think we're going to trade you away, barring what you're looking for here. I mean, $4.4 million really isn't that bad. Portland Martone, I'm going to go ahead and trade you away right now. We'll try to get something somewhat cheap. Or do I just ride out your contract? We're just going to ride out Portland Martone's contract. We're going for a Stanley Cup here. Yusufson, we're going to ride out your contract as well. Actually, I'm going to trade you away. I don't really know what I'm doing here. So here's what we're doing. Smirnoff, you were an amazing goaltender for us last season. But you know what? I can't afford to keep you on the team. You want $8 million. Portland Martone, you're looking for 15, I can't keep you on the team. So we're going to get Joe Iginla, a medium top 6 potential player, and 2 first-round picks here. This is going to be an amazing deal for us if we're able to get it done. Maybe we're only going to get 1 first-round pick here, but at the end of the day, that's going to be a valuable first-round pick. So I think I make this comment every year, but this is the best team we've had. Every single season, I'm talking about how this is the best team we've had. The next season, I'll say that's the best team we've ever had. But no, this team's really going to be unstoppable. There is no one that's going to be able to stop us. Eustace, I'm going to hold on to you for 1 more season. You're going to win us 1 more Stanley Cup here. Then we're going to be moving on to like 81 overall goaltenders. Joey Daccord, you're going to be the backup. Just hold it down for me. Like realistically, I think we've reached the point where our offense is so good and our defense is so good. It doesn't really matter who's in between the pipes. They'll be able to pick up enough wins for us. So Virginia, you did something incredible this season. You were better in every aspect of the game compared to last season. More wins, more goals per game, and that's going to mean Darnell Richmond's going to have another career season. 157 goals, 69 helpers, 226 points, but I think he tied his goal career high. No, he didn't. He was significantly lower than last season. Bro started picking up assists. He's taking the Wayne Gretzky route. He's like, you know what? I'm scoring enough goals here. Time to start picking up some helpers. That's exactly what he did. Joe Iginla looking elite. Jackson Jacobson doing his thing. Seneca, he was great. Surprised he didn't make the World Junior team, but that's neither here nor there. And then when it comes to goaltending, both of the guys that we picked up were amazing. Joey Daccord, you actually had better numbers. So maybe you should have been the starter, but I don't think that really matters here. We're going to go win a Stanley Cup. We got the New Jersey Devils in the first round. I think we all know we're going to win the Stanley Cup here. But in saying all that, we won 67 games this season. But in the final game of the season, we did lose to the New Jersey Devils. And we've already lost 1 this series against the Devils, but you know what? The boys are going to figure it out here. Defensively, we've actually been really good so far in this series. So let's close down game number 5. We're off to the second round. So we're not going to look at the playoff picture here. We're just going to keep on rolling. Once again, we're going to have a 3-1 series lead. We're going to close out in game number 5, off to the conference finals. As long as the boys are winning and as long as the boys are dominating, we're not going to stop here. We just got to keep on rolling. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs up next, and we all know the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're not going to be able to stop us. We're too dominant of a team right now to be stopped. But you know what? I might have to take that back. Toronto's putting up a pretty solid fight right now. Game number 5 is going to be a big one, but we're going to steal game number 5. We're going to close out in game 6. Never mind. I might have gotten a little bit ahead of myself. We're off to game 7 elimination. The boys have to step up when it matters most. And when I'm saying our team needs to step up, I mean Darnell Richmond has to step up. And that's exactly what's happening here. However, it's not just Darnell Richmond. It's the entire team. We're scoring goals like crazy here. We're scoring 8 in this game. And 8's going to be more than enough. So we've made it to the Stanley Cup final. We were taken to game 7 by the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I don't think that's going to happen again. We're taking on another elite team here in the Colorado Avalanche. Some of the best in the game are matching up, but Virginia's clearly the better team. I don't know why I'm acting so confident. Like anything can happen in the 7-game series. We drop game number 1. That's a perfect example that anything can happen. Game number 5 is going to be a massive one. Luckily, we're going to win that one. Can we close down game 6? Or are we going to be off to game 7? We don't have to worry about game 7. We scored 7 goals here, 6 here, 7 here. That's going to be more than enough. 20 goals in the past 3 games. The boys are back on top. And with the team being back on top, you already know Darnell Richmond was incredible in the postseason. One of his best postseasons yet. 34 goals, 12 assists, 46 points. Jackson Jacobson, he's picking up 31 points. Joe Iginla, 29. The team was absolutely rolling here. And then Yusufson, you're pretty solid in the postseason. A 902 and a 301. I would love to keep you around here, but we just don't have the cap space too. So we're going to be losing him. That's going to be a tough loss for the team, but I know for a fact we're going to be able to bounce back. Also, we don't have to worry about signing a goaltender. We actually have a goaltender here, medium league potential. He's an 80 overall. He's getting a 2-year extension at $850K. Yeah, there we go. We solved our problem. Also, shout out to the San Jose Sharks. They gave us the 6th overall pick. Definitely something we needed. So the Rangers made a selection with Powell. They brought him in 81 overall, the 1st overall pick. Here's the 6th overall pick for the guy that went 1st overall. They're saying no to that. What else do you want? Like realistically, if I give you the 66th overall pick, is that going to be enough to get Powell? Yes, it is. Welcome to the team. We got the 1st overall pick for the 6th overall and the 66th. That's called finessing. Also, we got our future goaltender. We're securing a medium league potential player here in the 1st round. You already know bro's going to turn to a stud. Then again, he's only a 56 overall, so I might have to take that back. All right, so Gavin McKenna, we're going to try to keep you on the team here. I don't think we're going to be able to. I mean, technically we could. And if we keep Gavin McKenna around for 1 more season, then we could just let him walk after that. But you know what? We're just going to qualify him as an RFA right now, and then we'll figure out exactly what we're going to do with him. And then, of course, we'll sign a couple rookies, but we're not going to do too much here. So just looking at who's on expiring deals here, we got Jackson Jacobson. We're not going to be able to bring him back. Bro's looking for $13 million. I can't afford to keep you on the team. I can't afford you at $13 million, so you're going to have to walk here. Gavin McKenna, I think we're going to re-sign you for 1 1 year and then you're going to walk away. Actually, I take that back. We're going to trade you away. Might as well get a little bit of value while we can. So you know what? After seeing Gavin McKenna's trade value and figuring out it's not that high, we're going to re-sign McKenna here. We'll do $5.6 million for 1 season. I know he's not really interested in that contract. He's still going to be accepting it. We'll run it back next season. So remember how last season I said that was our best team? And then I said how the following year I would probably say that's our best team? Yeah, that's how it works. This team's even better than the last. However, there is only one question mark with this team right here, and that's the goaltending department. Is an 81 to 78 going to be enough? Well, we're about to find out. Also, I'm taking it back. We have another 81 overall goaltender in the system. So yeah, we're rocking 2 81s. Both of them are young goaltenders, but you know what? They're going to be good enough for us. So although I thought the team was a bit better this season, statistically we weren't as good. I mean, 65 wins is great and all, and I mean 6 goals per game, I'm definitely going to take that, but the defense definitely did take a step back here, but I don't think that's much of a surprise. Darnell Richmond, 215 points. Bro's just casually passing the puck more, and I'm not a fan of it. Start scoring more. Score 200 goals in a season. Do what you have to, but yeah, stop passing the puck so much. Not a fan of it. The plus minuses incredible on this team. The team's incredible in general. Both goaltenders were elite this season. I think running 281 overall goaltenders is definitely the move. Like, both of these guys were really good this season. It doesn't matter who's in net for the postseason. I can live with both of them. We got the New Jersey Devils in the first round. The boys are going back to back, and there's no doubt in my mind we're not able to. So I already know what we're going to do here. We're going to sweep the New Jersey Devils. We're going to move on to the second round. We're going to go 16-0 in the postseason. It's a pretty simple task for a team like the Virginia Vikings. Like, this team just wins games. That's what we're here to do. So we moved on to the second round. We're going to be matching up against the Carolina Hurricanes. Can we make it 8 straight wins and come off back-to-back sweeps here? We're winning game number 1. We're winning game 2. This team really can't be stopped. Yeah, we're going 16-0. That is the goal now. The goal is to go 16-0 with this team right here. Perfect throughout the entire postseason. Something else Darnell Richmond could add to his legacy. Like, bro's really the greatest player of all time, and there's nobody even in the same conversation. You can't even compare Wayne Gretzky to this man right here. Unfortunately, we're going to drop game number 1, and we're going to drop games 3 and 4. What are we doing? We shouldn't be losing to Ottawa. Out of all teams, we shouldn't be losing to the Senators. All right, Darnell, I need you to wake up here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. 5 goals in the first period. The boys are going to win this game. Darnell might not have picked up all 5 goals, but you know what? He led the charge there. We're moving on to game number 6. So we got to make a 3-1 series comeback if we want to make it to the Stanley Cup final. It's going to be a scoreless first period. In the second, we're picking up 2 goals to the Senators 1. I'm a little concerned heading into the third period. We got to play some great defense here, but you know what? Great defense is also great offense. We're off to game 7. It was a 1-goal game. It was a really close one. But when it mattered most, we found the back of the net. So the boys were messing around with the Ottawa Senators, gave them a 3-1 series lead, and then what's going to happen right after that? We're just going to score goals, and we're going to score a ton of goals in this game. How many goals did Richmond have? He picked up the first goal of the game, had 2 in the second, he scored 1 in the third. A 4-goal game for Darnell Richmond. It was a slow outing for him. Do you have any assists in this game? It doesn't look like it, but he did have 4 goals. So yeah, we'll take it. So here we go. We're back in the Stanley Cup final. We were taken to 7 games by the Senators. But you know what? I'm not too concerned. This team's going to show up in the big time games, and we're going to show up against the Ducks. So all we have to do is beat the Anaheim Ducks, and we're back-to-back Stanley Cup champs, and it looks like that's going to be pretty easy for us. The Ducks can't even compete. We're just scoring goal after goal right now. We're going to close out in game number 5, and just like that, the boys have gone back-to-back. So with back-to-back Stanley Cups, Darnell's going to be adding another one to his legacy, and I think that might be Stanley Cup number 5. Like, we're just going to double-check there, but I believe Darnell's won 5 Stanley Cups now. An amazing postseason from him. 35 goals, 12 assists, 47 points. Bro really can't be stopped. Like, just looking at these playoff numbers, 260 goals, 93 assists for 353 points. He's breaking every record imaginable. But speaking of records, let's go look at the trophy case. It's going to be 4 Stanley Cups here, 4 Conn Smythes, 7 Hart Memorials, 9 Ted Lindsays, 8 Art Rosses, 10 Maurice Rocket Richards, 2 Frank Selkes, and 4 Lady Bangs. For some reason, I thought this was Stanley Cup number 5. I guess not. But at the end of the day, how about we just complete a 3-peat next season and get Darnell's 5th Stanley Cup? It's that simple. So we're going to be getting another mediumly potential goaltender here. This one's going to be coming in the second round, but he's only a 48 overall, and I drafted him 66th overall. I was expecting a bit more for a 66th overall pick, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, this is cooked. The 132nd overall, a 47 overall goaltender. We really can't catch a break here. I mean, we're getting mediumly potential goaltenders. They're just not very good. So this will more than likely be the best prospect we're going to get here. It's going to be a lowly potential playmaker, but he was a gem. So ideally, he's going to turn to a star for us in the future. But then again, he is starting as a 53 overall, so he's going to need quite the progression. So we've reached the re-sign phase. Gavin McKenna is going to be leaving the team here, but maybe not. We do have $10 million to work with, and he's looking for 6.4. Gavin McKenna, welcome back. So Gavin McKenna is going to stick on the team, 6.2 million, and this is actually an incredible deal because he's just going to take Jackson Jacobson's role, and then we'll trade Jackson Jacobson. Yeah, we're making big moves out here, and they're working out for us. We're going to lose Tolvanen though because he is looking for 5.3 million, and I can't do that for a bottom 6 guy. Could do this deal though. 2.7 million for the next 3. Let's make that 2.5 million. 2.5 is a pretty solid deal. You're an 82 overall, 22 years old. You're a good bottom 6 piece. So at that price tag, it's a great deal. And then Mink, it looks like it's time for you to join the team. You're getting your entry level contract. Also show it to Gary. 1.3 million, you're jumping into the lineup next season. So we've ran into a slight issue with Kim Burkfors here. He wants 3.3 million. I don't want to give him 3.3 million. So I guess we'll just see what happens with him. So we're in a tough spot here. Like, look at all these guys that are going to need deals. We're not going to be able to pay them all. However, we will be able to pay a few of them. Which guys am I talking about? I actually don't really know yet, but it is going to be Jay. Jay is getting a deal here. He's an 89 overall, only wanting $7 million. We'll do 7.4. Jay's sticking around with the team. Jay Strite's going to be an amazing player for us. Fritz, I'm kind of hoping I can keep you around on a pretty cheap deal. It doesn't look like it. Actually, after giving Strite that deal, we really don't have money. So yeah, we're going to make a lot of changes here. I mean, all the RFAs are going to stick around till next season, then I'll trade them away. But yeah, there's going to be a few guys definitely being moved. So here's the deal I'm looking at because Matthew Schaefer's looking for $13 million. I trade him over to the Nashville Predators. We get a really good defenseman. He's an 86 overall, only 23 years old, so he's going to keep on getting better. By the end of his contract, he'll probably be like an 89 overall. But in this deal, we're going to try to get 3 first-round picks. Of course, they're going to say no to that. How about 2 first-round picks? Can I get 2 in this deal? They're saying no. But what if we exchange firsts? Like, we can basically swap first-round picks, and I think this is a pretty fair deal. I'm giving them 1 first-round pick, but you know what? It's not going to take 2 here. I'll give you a 6th-round pick as well, and just like that, Nashville's going to be accepting this deal. So here we go. Jackson Jacobson and Gary are both going to be sent over to Seattle because we have to free up this extra 1.3 million. We're going to pick up a mediumly potential player, a medium top 6 guy, and then 3 first-round picks. Hopefully we can get all 3 first-rounders. They're going to say no. I'm willing to trade a defenseman away in this deal. Like, I'm willing to trade one of our good defensemen just to free up a bit of extra money here. And I think that guy might have to be Zane Parekh. We might have to trade Zane Parekh away here. We have to free up that 3.3 million. Actually, we're not going to do that, or maybe we do. I'm going back and forth with the deals right now. I really don't know what trade to make. Kavanagh or trading you. It's going to be Kavanagh. This might be a bad deal. I think the Seattle Kraken are finessing us here, but we have to get this deal done. We have to free up cap space. This team's in a very difficult position just because of how little cap space we have. I'll throw a first-round pick into this deal. This will be enough for Seattle. Apparently not. Nah, Seattle's bugging right now. Here's our 2nd-round pick. Hopefully this is going to be enough. I really want those first-rounders. Maybe not. I'll take one of the first-rounders out of the deal, but you're not getting my first-round pick. They're saying no to that. Nah, this team is bugging. So here you go. Here's our first-round pick for next season. All of this is going to be enough. We've freed up enough money. We should be able to keep everyone on the team, or at least all the important pieces that I want to keep around. So we have to trade this RFA away. We're going to get a mediumly potential right defenseman. He's on a cheap contract. We're going 1-for-1 here. And with that deal completed, let's run it back for next season. Also, I'd never realized how many forwards we have on our team, like how many elite forwards. So yeah, we're going to make this deal with Buffalo just to free up 2.5 million. So I think you already know what I'm going to say just looking at this team right here. We're better than last season. And basically every aspect of the game, we are better than last season. The team's looking absolutely incredible here. Goaltending might be a bit mid, but you know what? I trust what we have here. So as long as Darnell Richmond's on the team, Virginia's going to be at the top of the league. However, Richmond definitely a slower season here. But you know what? His first line wasn't as dominant here. He's still picking up 133 goals and 61 helpers for 194 points, but that's just not the old Darnell Richmond we know. Gavin McKenna, his first season on the first line, looking amazing, 116 points. So yeah, that contract's definitely going to age really well for us. And then when it comes to goaltending, Kim actually accepted his qualifying offer, so he joined the team for a couple games here. But Nicky Tim was definitely the starter for us. 48 wins, 3 shouts, and 891 to 316. Bro was elite the entire season, but now we're moving on to the postseason, and this is where it matters. We're going for Stanley Cup number 5. Richmond, you got to get this one. So we need another elite postseason run if we're going for Stanley Cup number 5. And you know what? Things look pretty solid so far. We're scoring a lot of goals here. The defense does need to be a little bit better because that hasn't been elite so far, but then it's going to pick up in game number 5, so we don't have to worry. So you know what? How about we just sim the rest of the postseason here? We know Virginia's going to dominate, and I think this is probably going to be the last postseason in which I go round by round, because let's face it, Virginia's always always going to be making deep postseason runs, because we're always going to make it to the very minimum the conference finals, but we're probably going to make it to the Stanley Cup final in 99.9% of seasons, hence what we did right now. So there's no point me showing every single round when we know for a fact that we're going to win. Maybe I'll just show the Stanley Cup final, but even at that point I think it's just a waste of time. So from here on out I'm just going to simulate the entire postseason. And what is Virginia going to do here? Well, we're going to win the Stanley Cup in 7 games, and we won it in overtime. Okay, that was a lot closer than I thought it would be, but you know what? The team looked absolutely fantastic. We won another Stanley Cup here, and that's going to be Richmond's 5th. So Richmond does his usual thing in the postseason, 46 points. He's picking up 37 goals and 9 assists. That's his 5th Stanley Cup. Bro continues to be absolutely unstoppable here. Goaltending was fantastic. And this is the last time we're going round through round. From here on out, we're just going to simulate right to the end of the postseason. Because truthfully, we know this team's making the Stanley Cup final every single time. We don't need to see every single game they play. See, now this is why we make trades for draft picks. We got the 3rd overall to work with. We also have the 12th overall from Nashville. So yeah, we continue to win around here. Okay, I'm very concerned heading into the 3rd overall pick here. So the guy that got drafted 1st overall, franchise potential. I didn't know this, it was unknown scouting. The guy that went number 2 has high top 6. So I could draft this guy right here who's projected number 3. Or I go for the guy projected number 4 who's guaranteed to have medium elite potential. And that's what we're going to do. We're not taking a risk around here. Look what the Florida Panthers did. They messed up big time. And then when it comes to the guy who is projected 3rd overall, he's an A2 overall. So I mean, I guess we wouldn't have gone wrong either way. But yeah, that could have been tough. Now, considering what's available here with the 12th overall pick, we're going to trade for the guy who got drafted 2nd, because at least he has high top 6 potential. He's only a 67 overall, but with that high top 6 potential, he should turn into a good player for us. So we'll go ahead, trade the 12th overall, get a high top 6 potential player and a future 2nd rounder. This is a great deal for us. Like, considering our best option was like medium top 4, we're definitely coming out on top in this deal. And it turns out the team's going to keep on cooking. Now we're getting a medium elite potential playmaker here with the 66th overall. So even outside the 1st round, we're getting medium elite potential players. And I guess we're not done yet. Another medium elite potential player here in the 3rd round. I wasn't expecting that. I fully didn't expect that. He had inaccurate scouting. We took a bit of a risk and it worked out for us. So you know what? Why not take another risk? Can we get low elite potential here? It doesn't look like it. Low top 9. That's a bit more realistic. But I mean, with the 99th overall pick, we are getting this gem who has medium top 6 potential. So there is that. So Powell's going to get signed to his entry-level contract here. It's going to be a great deal for us. He's going to be an 85 overall, getting paid $1 million. What an absolute steal. We're going to get another amazing deal done with Anthony. It's going to be 1.4 for the next 2 years. Truthfully, he should be asking for more money, but I think he's been a healthy scratch his entire career. Like, there's literally just been no place for us to play him on the roster. So yeah, he's finally going to be jumped into the lineup, because we're going to be qualifying 1 RFA. We're going to be qualifying 2 RFAs. We're qualifying 3 RFAs. All these guys are being qualified, and all of them will be traded away. Fritz, I assume you're looking for a bag, 9.7 million. I can't do that. Corbett, I'm assuming you're looking for a bag as well, 10.3 million. We can't do that. And St. Jacques, we know for a fact that you're going to want a bag. You asked for a bag earlier. Maybe not as bad as I thought though. 4.9 million. I'm still going to trade you away. So Serge Dubois, we're going to bring you to the team as well. You're going to be a good bottom 6 piece for us. It's going to be 1.6 million for the next 3 years. I don't need you to be a superstar. I just need you to play a role on this team, and I need you to have a cheap contract, and that's exactly what you have. Rustland, I actually want to bring you back to the team. If we can do 2.3 million, I'm willing to do so. So please accept 2.3 million. It looks like he will, so it looks like he's going to be sticking around as well. So when it comes to re-signing a goaltender, I don't think we're going to bring back either of these guys. I might qualify this one as an RFA, but I don't even think I'm going to do that. He only has low lead potential. We'll get nothing for him. So yeah, all these goaltenders right here are going to walk, and then we'll just sign some goaltenders for like 950k. So David Jiricek might be one guy that's just going to be walking away at the end of the season. 10.4 million. We're probably not going to be able to afford to give him an extension. I mean, we could and then trade him away, but then again, he's going to be 33 years old, so I think we're just going to let him walk here. Zane Parekh, I think we might trade you away as well. You have really high trade value, so we should be able to get something for you. I mean, what we could do is just give Sebastian Schultz a long-term deal here and kind of hope he turns into a stud for us, and that's what we're going to do. 5.4 million for the next 5 years. We're basically going to give him Zane Parech's role, and hopefully he develops really well for us. So Kim is smartened up now that he's hit free agency. $1.9 million for 1 year. I'm pretty sure he was asking $3 million from us. So yeah, that's going to be a good deal. All right, so we're basically just going to flip RFAs for new rookies. We're going to be picking up this one from the Washington Capitals. I believe this is the guy I was actually going to pick up in the draft, but I decided to go for the guy projected 4th overall because that was the safe pick. So we're going to make one more trade. We're picking up one medium-elite potential player from the Calgary Flames. 2 RFAs are going to be traded away, but I also want to see if we can get Calgary's 1st round pick. They're saying no, but as you know, I'm willing to exchange 1st round picks. So I'll give up our 1st round pick for 2038, and I think this should be enough to get Calgary's for this season. They're saying it's a little bit low, so we'll just throw in the lucrative 7th round pick. So we're going to have a handful of draft picks to work with for this upcoming season, but you know what? It's definitely going to be worth it, especially with us having 3 first round picks. Hopefully we get something really decent out of that. So Darnell Richmond's officially hit 30 years old, and at 30 years old, he has 1,668 goals, 590 assists for 2,258 points. So he's clearly going to break Wayne Gretzky's point record. However, the real question is, can this man hit 2,000 goals? There is no doubt in my mind he's not hitting 2,000 goals. I guess the real question is, can Darnell Richmond score more goals than Wayne Gretzky had points? Because at this point, that's what we're debating. Now, I don't care about the record of this team. 6 goals per game. We were scoring 6 goals per game, only allowing 2.95. We scored over 250 more goals than we allowed. That's how good we were. 253 to be exact. This team was so incredibly dominant, and of course, Darnell Richmond led the way. 232 points, 158 goals, 74 helpers here. Gavin McKenna, he's been a great addition to that first line. He's up to a 90 overall. He's got a superstar X factor. And how much are we paying this man? $6.2 million. Yeah, that contract's definitely working out for us. And then when it comes to goaltending, we had 2 solid goaltenders in between the pipes. Both of them were fantastic this season, but you know what's even more fantastic than the goaltending, the record and the scoring? Us beating the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup final. Okay, maybe not us beating St. Louis, but us winning a Stanley Cup. I'm happy about that. Would have preferred that we didn't have to sweep the St. Louis Blues, but that's neither here nor there. The Virginia Vikings are running it back yet again here. Darnell Richmond, 24 goals and 9 assists for 33 points, but granted, he only played 19 games. Bro was still incredibly dominant. And then when it comes to goaltending, absolutely incredible. A 922 and a 245. Wilson was him, plain and simple. But I guess the real question is, with all those first round picks we acquired, what are we going to be getting here in the draft? The 11th overall. I was kind of hoping for a little bit better, but you know what? I'll still take it. So I want to try to pick up some medium league potential players. We're going to try to pick up Gerard. He was just drafted first overall. The 11th overall and the 30th isn't going to be enough here, but as we know, we have a ton of assets to work with. I'll throw in the 35th overall pick as well, and then this should be enough. They're saying we're a bit off, but you know what? It's not going to take us too much more. Here's the 66th overall as well. LA, you gotta say yes to this. Just accept this deal right here. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe we just don't trade with LA and we just trade for a team like the Winnipeg Jets. Whichever team is interested in our draft picks is going to make this significantly easier. So if Winnipeg's interested in these picks, this deal is going to be significantly easier to get done. So it's literally a 1 overall difference between the guy that was drafted first overall and the guy that was drafted second. But I can guarantee you this deal is going to be significantly easier to get done. So we're going to do a first rounder in 2 seconds here, and I think this should be enough. They're saying no. How about we do 2 firsts? Like, I'll give you the 30th overall as well, and I think this should be enough to get this deal done. They're saying no. Granted, the 30th overall and the 35th overall, I mean, there's not really much of a difference in the value of those 2 picks, so I'll offer this package over. Winnipeg's saying yes. Now we're moving on to a different team, and I think that team might be the Dallas Stars. I believe they have a good player. Yes, they do. The guy we got from Winnipeg was a sniping centerman, so you know what we need? A playmaking left winger. Also, was he not on the Dallas Stars? I thought he was. Was he on the Minnesota Wild? I'm tweaking. He was on the Minnesota Wild. For some reason, I thought he was on the Dallas Stars. I don't know what I'm yapping about. All I know is this deal is going to be pretty simple to get done. So we're just going to send every single one of these picks over to the Minnesota Wild, and they're going to say yes. I guess not. I will give you a first round pick for next season. Do I want to do that? I actually can't do that. So here's a second round pick for next season. We're not going to have any draft picks left. I do believe we have a medium league potential player who's only like a 50 overall or something. Yes, we do. So if I throw him into this deal with this massive package, is that going to be enough? Minnesota's finessing us, but that's perfectly fine. Well, I'm really happy we traded that 50 overall player now who had medium league potential, because we're getting a 48 overall player who has medium league potential. So probably in like 2 seasons, this guy will get flipped as well. So we have 3 guys who need to be re-signed. David Jiricek, Zane Parekh. I don't think we're going to bring either of you guys back. Like David Jiricek, $13.5 million. You want a 4-year deal at 33 years old? I'm not doing that. Zane Parekh, what are you going to be looking for here? $12 million? I don't want to do that either. And then when it comes to our goaltender, I'm assuming he's going to be looking for like $5 million. I don't even want to give bro 3. So yeah, we're going to let all 3 of those guys walk, but that's honestly not the end of the world. Like, we have so many good young players on this team, somebody will move up in the lineup. So we have a handful of guys that we're going to try to bring back to the team here. We do have $15 million in cap space, so we should be able to keep 1 or 2 players. We're going to start with Joe Aginla. He's been a great player. Joe Aginla, goodbye. I'm not giving you that contract. Like, this is a bit more reasonable. We can do 8.7 million. Actually, we'll make that 8.5. I lied. We'll make that 8.6. I just keep lying to you guys. 8.6 million. That man's going to stick around. When it comes to the defense, you know what? This guy could take Zane Parekh's role, so we'll give him 6.3 million. Actually, make that 6.1 million for the next 3 years. So that's 2 really good deals right there, and I don't know how much cap space we have after making those deals. We have $10 million left. We'll sign this centerman right here. He has turned into a top 6 player for us, and at 5.5 million, you can't find a better deal than that. You know what? We're just going to keep on giving deals. Mank here's 1.9 million for the next 2 year, good 4th line player for us. Rustland, I think you're probably going to play some bottom 6 minutes for us this season. So here's $2.1 million for 1 year. We're going to hold off on these 2 rookies right here. And with these other 3 guys, I think we'll just let them walk. So we're going to bring Tyson Crane to the team, 1.3 for 2 years. He's going to be one of our starting goaltenders. I say one of our starting goaltenders because, I mean, truthfully, we're probably just going to split starts. All right, so we won a Stanley Cup last season with Darnell Richmond. He's up to 31 years old. He's still 99 overall. Bro's looking to break the point record with all of his goals, and he might be able to do that. He's give or take 1,000 goals away from breaking the point record. So what does he need? Like 7 more seasons, 6 more seasons? He needs like 7 more seasons to break the point record with his goals. But you know what? With the way he's been playing, I think he's going to be able to do it. There's nothing going to be stopping this team. There's no one going to be stopping this team. Let's go win another Stanley Cup. And Darnell, let's try to pick up 200 goals this season. So not only was it the greatest season in Virginia Vikings history, it's the greatest season in NHL history. 71 wins, 9 losses, 2 OT losses, scoring 527 goals, only allowing 255. We scored 272 more goals than we allowed. We scored 272 more goals than we allowed. That's how dominant we were. We were that good of a team. That's where our goal differential was. Darnell Richmond, 208 points, a good season from him. Only 151 goals though. Bro's lacking in the goal department. But you know what? There's one thing this team did this season, on top of setting that win record, that we have never done before. We didn't go 16-0 in the postseason. We went 16-1. We lost 1 game in the postseason to the New York Rangers. If we didn't lose that game, we would have been perfect. 16-0 in the postseason. We were that close. Richmond, 26 goals, 11 assists, 37 points. We were outscoring teams like crazy. Like Gavin McKenna, look at what you've done the past 3 seasons now. Like you were playing some bottom 6 minutes for us for the longest time. You were a 40-point player. Then I threw you on the first line alongside Darnell Richmond, and you've turned into an absolute superstar. But I think we all saw that happening. Like we all knew that was going to happen. And then when it comes to Wilson, a 908, a 277 with 1 shutout. He was the best goaltender in the league. He was an absolute superstar. Let's get ready for next season. We have a couple draft picks at play here. Are we going to get the first overall pick? We're praying for a miracle. We didn't get any picks in the lottery. But at the end of the day, who really cares? We were that team. It was last season where we had all the picks. Okay, yeah, we're not doing anything here. I don't know what I was yapping about. I completely got the years mixed up. Last season, we had all those first rounders. This season, we have nothing. So we have a couple guys on expiring deals, but I don't think we have money for any of them. We have $5 million to work with. There's no way we sign any of these guys. Like, I mean, obviously, we can sign these rookies to their entry-level contracts, but I'm talking about guys like Joe Iginla. I think Joe Iginla was looking for like $12 million plus. We're not doing that. Like, there's literally zero way we can do that. Also, it's finally happened. Peter DeBoer is officially retired. A quick salute to Pierre DeBoer. Won, 7 Stanley Cups with this team? We wouldn't have been able to do it without him. All right, so we just gave a couple extensions. Gavin McKenna's getting $14.5 million for the next 7 years. More than likely, he'll get traded in a couple years. Powell's getting $10.7 for the next couple years. I believe it's $10.7 for the next 3. So he's going to be sticking around here. More than likely, we're going to trade Duffy away. And then this man right here, we're going to try to bring back, but we got to free up $1 million. So we got to trade somebody away to free up $1 million. And then Duffy, we are trading you away here. We're just going to try to get some young defensive prospects. Like, just look at Duffy's trade value. I think we're going to be able to get all of these assets right here, 2 mediumly potential players and 3 first round picks. They're saying no to that, but I'll throw somebody in just so we can make up that extra $1 million we need. So who can we afford to trade away here that's going to free up $1 million? I mean, I guess we could just trade Schultz away. He was going to turn into a top 4 defenseman for us, but you know what? Things have changed. So yeah, Schultz, I'll throw you into this deal, and it should be enough to get this one done. They're saying no. Do we have to flip first round picks with you? Because that's what I'll do. So here's our first round pick, and hopefully that's going to be enough. They're saying no. I'll give you another first round pick. Like, as we know, we're going to be winning Stanley Cups here, so these first round picks won't have any value. However, Minnesota's, they might have a significant amount of value. They're saying no to that. I'll throw a 4th rounder in, and this should be enough to get this deal done. They're saying no. I'll give you a second. Like, I'll give you a 2040 second round pick just so we can make this deal pretty simple for us. The Minnesota Wild are going to be accepting that one. Now we're in a great spot. So by freeing that money up, we're going to be able to bring back Tony here. We're going to be doing $7.9 million for the next 5 years. As a top 4 defenseman, that's a great contract. Also, shout out to our dog Scott. He's going to join the team for the next 2 years, 79 overall. He'll probably be able to be the starter next season. So with Darnell Richmond starting to decline, I'm getting a bit concerned. Is he going to be able to score more goals than Wayne Gretzky had points? I'm not too sure anymore. At first, I thought it was going to be guaranteed. Like, there's no way that he doesn't score more more goals than Wayne Gretzky had points, but now he's starting to decline. You just never know how quick a player is going to retire. Like, granted, he could still play till he's 45 years old, but he also could retire next season. You just never know. So although the team was incredible once again here, there was one massive concern. The goals for per game had a massive drop off. We're not nearly as good offensively, and with us not being as good offensively, Darnell Richmond wasn't that guy. It's sad to say, only 130 goals, 42 helpers, 172 points. Darnell Richmond's washed. He's not the guy he used to be. Yeah, he has 2,100 goals, but that's neither here nor there. I also believe he just passed Wayne Gretzky, 2,870 points, and just like that, Darnell Richmond's now the leading point scorer in NHL history. But you know what? If he's going to lead the NHL in points, he might as well win another Stanley Cup while he's at it, and that's exactly what he's going to do. We're taking down the Winnipeg Jets in the Stanley Cup final. Darnell, you're officially one of one. No one will ever be able to compete with you. It officially happened this season. Darnell Richmond, 2,870 points. No one can touch him anymore. He is that guy. He's going to crack 3,000 points. He's really going to do that. If you just talk about his goals, we're going to be saying Darnell Richmond's a top 5 point player in NHL history. Only if we talk about goals. He just has to pick up 400 more goals and he's going to be in that conversation. So Darnell, just keep on doing the impossible here. Let's go win some more Stanley Cups. Because that's your 7th or 8th Stanley Cup, and we also just got the 2nd overall pick. So yeah, let's hope there's a franchise potential player projected number 1. We'll make a deal. Now, there wasn't a franchise potential player projected number 1. However, we are going to get a medium-league potential defenseman, and honestly, we actually need another medium-league potential defenseman. I mean, truthfully, we don't really need anything here. We're that good of a team, but another defenseman never hurt anyone. So when it comes to the re-sign phase, nothing we have to do. We signed a couple rookies, but yeah, we're qualifying RFAs and letting players walk. So we have a couple players that need to be re-signed, of course. Darnell Richmond, we're getting a deal done. What do you want? $18 million? I'm not doing $18 million. I'll do slightly less. Actually, we can do $18 million exactly. You were looking for $18.6 million, but we'll do 18 for the next 3. When it comes to Seneca, I think we're just going to ride his contract out. If we want to win a Stanley Cup, we're going to need him on the team. So yeah, we'll just ride that contract out. Mink, you're a bottom 6 player for us. I don't want to give you $5.5 million, so we're going to ride your contract out as well. We'll trade a couple RFAs, get some young players. You already know what we do around here. We also re-signed medium-league potential goaltenders for $900K. That's another thing we do. And this 75 overall, he'll probably be the backup this season. And he wants 2.3. He's bugging. You don't deserve 2.3 million. So I guess we'll go with the 72 overall to be our backup. We're going to run one of the worst goaltending tandems of all time, and we're still going to win because of how good this team is. So we're just going to flip RFAs for young rookies. We're doing that with the New Jersey Devils. They're getting a better rookie in this deal, but we're not having to pay that man $18 million. So I think we come out on top. And then to finish it all off, we have one more RFA and needs to be traded away here. Third defenseman, but you know what? We're just going to pick up a forward instead. This is the guy that was just drafted 1st overall. He's an 83 overall at 17 years old, so I already know he's going to turn into a superstar for us. We'll trade a 2nd round pick as well, and hopefully this is going to be enough here. Toronto's saying no. I guess I can give you my 1st round pick. I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to get this deal done, so here you go, Toronto. That's a pretty fair deal. So Darnell Richmond's dropped to a 94 overall. He's actually regressing really quick here. He still has his franchise potential, so that's a great sign, but you just never know when Darnell's going to call it a career. Like, by the beginning of next season, he could be down into the high 80s, and if he drops to the high 80s, I think he's only going to have like 4 years left. We do have an 86 overall goaltender, and we're paying this man for the next 2 seasons only $1 million. So yeah, it's going to work out. We might be looking at another 70-win season. Now at this point, we've definitely shattered the record of most consecutive seasons with 60+ wins, because we've probably had 60+ wins for the past decade. But Virginia at the top of the league, no surprise there. Darnell Richmond, another incredible season, 199 points, 141 goals in the process. Bro continues to be him. He's a 93 overall, so things are still looking pretty solid for him. When it comes to goaltending, of course, our 86 overall goaltender standing on his head, and not only did he stand on his head during the regular season, he did so in the playoffs as well, leading us to another Stanley Cup. We gotta double check Darnell's numbers. He's gotta be at least 6 Stanley Cups now. Like, I believe this should be Stanley Cup number 8 for Darnell Richmond. It's actually Stanley Cup number 9. So 9 Stanley Cups, 9 Conn Smythes, 12 Hart trophies, 14 Ted Lindsays, 13 Art Ross, 15 Maurice Rocco Richard trophies, 3 Frank Selkes, and 6 Lady Bangs. There's no player better than Darnell, but in times like this, you have to wonder, when is Darnell going to call it a career here? I don't think he's going to be ready to retire yet. I think he wants to run back a couple more years. We're getting the 6th overall pick from the Minnesota Wild, so what an amazing trade that was, getting all those 1st round picks, and they've had a lot of value. But Darnell, are you going to call it a career here? Of course you're not. Why would you call it a career? You're still the best player in the game. So we got the 6th overall pick, and the guy that was projected number 5 is dropping here, so we're going to make the selection. And you know what? Toronto messed up big time. him. Y'all could have had a 75 overall who had medium elite potential. Instead, you went for a 65 overall who has medium top 4. Y'all were lacking there for sure. I mean, there is one prospect we can celebrate here. It's this goaltender, medium elite potential, but he was also a gem. Probably not going to develop in time for us. If I'm being honest, Darnell's probably only got 4 years left in him. Alright, so we have a couple dollars to work with. $16 million to be exact here. Seneca, I guess I could bring you back to the team, but I don't want to do $10 million. You're 34 years old, so yeah, we're not going to do that. If anything, Mink, I'm actually willing to bring you back to the team. Where you look for 7.8 million. How about we do 7.7? Actually, we'll do a little bit less than that. 7.5 million for the next 3 years. You're 24 years old. You're getting better still. Seneca, he's going to be getting worse, so I think that deal's going to work out for us. So Mink's going to be sticking around with the team. We still have $10 million to work with, but we're not going to spend that $10 million right here. So we got $10 million to work with here. How are we going to spend it? Well, Karen, I think we're going to bring you back to the team. What are you looking for? Never mind, you will be leaving. I'm not giving you that much. We have to pay one of these defensemen, though. Which one's it going to be? I don't think it's going to be Trent. $14 million. That just seems like a bit much here. Like, we could sign this defenseman right here. Not only is he younger, but he's also cheaper. We're getting under $10 million, 9.9 for the next 3. That's the deal we're going with. Now, we are going to make a couple other signings. We'll bring this forward back to the team. It's going to be 5.9 for the next 6 seasons. Or at least I think it was 6 seasons. Maybe it was 5 seasons. I don't recall. But these 2 guys are going to be coming back, and then we're going to be losing a handful of pieces. So Darnell might be down to a 95 overall, and he only has exact elite potential now, but that's not going to stop him. How many points does he have at this point? He's got to be over 3,000. He has 3,069 points, 2,248 goals, and then 821 assists. Honestly, I kind of want him to hit 1,000 assists here. Like, pick up 1,000 assists, 2,000 goals, and then 3,000 points. I think that would be perfect for him. Darnell, you got to pick up a couple assists this season, but you know what? Keep scoring the puck as well. You're pretty good at that. So just when I thought there was no turning back for this team, 73, 7-2, scoring 6.55 goals per game, with Darnell Richmond leading the way, picking up 207 points. Yep, we're back. Just like that, the boys are back. 141 goals, 66 helpers, 207 points. If I get 2 more assist seasons like that, you're going to crack 1,000 assists here. And we get a couple more goal scoring seasons like this, we're going to have more goals than Wayne Gretzky had points. Darnell Richmond continues to be that guy for us. Goaltending was absolutely spectacular. No surprise, Scott was the man for us. And then when it came to the postseason, are we really surprised that we swept the Edmonton Oilers? Once again, this team was unstoppable. However, we did lose 2 games in the postseason. So I guess we weren't completely unstoppable, hence why we lost 2 games. But we won another Stanley Cup here. Darnell Richmond's going to be taking home another. I believe he's 1 more Stanley Cup away from tying the record, because he had his 9th last season. The awards haven't updated. He's supposed to be at 10 Stanley Cups and 10 Conn Smythes. He's 1 away from tying the record and then 2 away from breaking it. So we might as well try to make a handful of trades here. We're going to trade the 11th overall away, but we're also going to trade one of our guys who's going to become an RFA, and we're going to get the player who's drafted 1st overall. He's an 83 overall. He's going to be a great player in the future here. One of the guys becoming RFA is this defenseman right here, so I'm going to send him over to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then in the process we're going to try to get Toronto's 1st round pick for next season. I think this is a pretty fair deal. I'm going to offer it over, and Toronto thinks it's a fair deal as well. But you know what? One player's not going to be enough here. We're off to the Colorado Avalanche next, then the Nashville Predators. So Colorado's the next team we're going to be making a trade with, and we're going to be getting the guy they drafted 3rd overall, 2nd or 3rd overall. I believe it was 2nd overall. I literally just looked at this 2 seconds ago and I can't remember it, but it doesn't matter. Harvey's going to be brought to the team, medium elite potential, who's going to be shipped out. I think this is what we're going to do. It's going to be this RFA over to the Colorado Avalanche, but Colorado, you're going to give me your 1st round pick for next season. Now you're going to say no to that deal. What if I give you the 66th overall? They're still going to be saying no to that one, but it's just because they want the value sweetened a little bit. And you know what? I'll be a nice guy. Here's the 99th overall pick. Colorado, we just finessed you and you're okay with it. So we're going to make one more deal, and as I said, it's going to be with the Nashville Predators. We're picking up a medium elite potential defenseman. They're saying no to that deal. I'll take the 2nd rounder out. We'll just go 2 for 1 here. So I don't know how we have as much cap space as we do, but we got $14 million to work with here. So Karen, maybe you're coming back. Okay, never mind. He wants $22 million. Bro, you're gone. You didn't just ask me for $22 million. You didn't look me in the eyes and say, you know what? I want $22 million. You didn't do that. I refuse to believe that happened. Actually, it didn't happen. Nope, I didn't see that happen. He didn't look me in the eyes and say, I want $22 million. Like, how do you request $22 million when the best player on our team, Darnell Richmond, where is Darnell Richmond? No, seriously, where is Darnell Richmond? Okay, there he is. Darnell Richmond's getting paid $18 million. You can't tell me I want $4 million more than Darnell Richmond. That's not how it works around here. So like usual, there's always players that we have to re-sign here, Powell being one of them. And how much is he going to be looking for? $17 million. Do I want to give him $17 million to be our #1 defenseman? You know what? I'm not against it. I don't like the contract by any means, but I don't hate the contract. We actually might be able to do $15 million here. You know what? Let's do something like this. I'll do $15 million and I'll give you a no movement clause. Like, you can stick around for the rest of the rebuild here. That contract will age pretty well for us. It just allows us to save a bit of extra money. Jay Strite, I would love to keep you on this team, and we're going to try to do so. We're going to do $16.6 million for the next 7 years. But unfortunately, after making this deal, that means the rest of these guys are going to have to walk. Unless we can get a really cheap deal done here, which we can, $1.9 million for 2 years. That works for me. So Darnell has tied the record for most Stanley Cups. He's got 10 in his career so far, alongside 10 Conn Smythes, 13 Hart trophies, 15 Ted Lindsays, the list goes on. But one more Stanley Cup is going to have him tied for the most all time. Darnell, you have one last chance here. I mean, that's a lie, like you have multiple chances left. But you know what? If you win one right here, you're going to tie the record, and then all we have to do is win one more. Also, we've won a lot of Stanley Cups in a row at this point. Like, I feel like we've won 5 in a row or something, maybe even 6. So yeah, just keep on winning. Like, why would you ever stop winning? It works for us. Now I have some very bad news to share. 68 wins was great and all that. 6 goals per game, fantastic. But Darnell Richmond's not that guy. He's not that guy anymore. Only 167 points. We were seeing more scoring throughout the entire lineup. Only 136 goals was he dropped to. He's dropped down to a 92 overall at 36 years old. Age is catching up to Darnell Richmond. But we have even worse news than this. We lost in the Stanley Cup final. We really lost in the Stanley Cup final. I take it back. We didn't even make it to the Stanley Cup final. We lost in the conference finals to the Buffalo Sabres in 7 games. The boys folded. The boys folded when it mattered most. We couldn't step up in the big time moment, and because of that, we're not going to be tying the record for most Stanley Cups by one player. We're going to have to wait another season. We're going to have to hope that this team's going to be able to bounce back next season, because you never know, we might not be able to. Then again, we did get the 7th overall pick and the 10th overall pick, so that's certainly going to help here, but we're losing some valuable assets to the team. And the real question is Darnell Richmond going to return for one more season? I think he will, but you know what? You just never know what's going to happen. And it looks like he's going to run it back for one more season. I don't think there's anyone out there that's really surprised at this. So the Islanders had the 1st overall pick, and they drafted this sniper right here. So what we're going to do is the 7th overall, the 64th overall, the 97th overall, and the 130th overall over to the Islanders to get that prospect right there. They're going to be saying no to that. We do have some young players we can trade away, though. Like, we do have some unsigned players. I don't want to trade that one right there, but I wouldn't mind trading one of these guys. So hopefully this is going to be enough for the 1st overall pick. Yes, it will be. Now we're going to circle back and get another player. So what we're going to do next is we'll go over to Utah. We'll pick up this prospect right here, and I'll give you the 10th overall and the 31st overall. And I think that should be enough. They're actually saying no to that. I'll give you the rest of our picks for this season. So I'll give you a 5th, 6th, and 7th rounder, and I think that should be enough value to get this deal done, and it looks like it will be. So we might have $5.8 million, but obviously we can't bring these guys back because none of them are going to sign for $5.8 million. So all of them are going to be qualified as RFAs, then all of them are going to be traded away. All right, so we're going to make some trades here. One of our RFAs has a ridiculous amount of trade value, and I mean ridiculous. Like, look at this right here. Bro is more valuable than Darnell Richmond. That shouldn't even be possible. So yeah, I'm going to trade him, get this medium potential player, and 3 first-round picks. We are going to do this deal. Never mind, I guess we're only getting 2 first-rounders, but at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. Don't be surprised if we end up flipping one of these first-round picks. Like, I don't think we can afford to hold on to them for too long here. I'll give you a 3rd-rounder as well, and that's going to be enough to get this deal done. So we got that trade complete. Now we're going to move on to the Washington Capitals and do something pretty similar. So we'll be able to get 1 young player in a deal like this, and we're also going to be able to get 1 first-round pick. So I'll offer this package over. They're saying it's a little bit low. We'll add another 3rd rounder. So here's a 3rd round pick, and that's going to be enough to get this deal done. And just like that, Washington's accepting. So we're just going to pick up this player from Vancouver. Then we're going to get some goaltenders here. They're saying that's not enough. I can give you a 2nd round pick as well. Really, the only valuable picks we're worried about is Washington's pick and Columbus's pick. Our picks can't really do too much for me at this point. Now they're saying no to this deal. What if I give you another 2nd round pick? If we have to do 2 first rounders, I will. And I think we're going to have to. Actually, I take that back. I think a 4th rounder is going to make the difference here. So I'm going to send this package over. Vancouver's finally accepting. Let's go sign some 80 overall goaltenders. Now there's really not too many players we need to sign other than Darnell Richmond. Like, Darnell Richmond's a must. He has to come back to this team, and he will be coming back to this team. We'll do $14.5 million for the next 2 years. So Richmond, you're going to be returning here at 36 years old. You continue to be one of the greats. With these other 2 players, more than likely they're going to have to walk here. Mink, I don't really know what you're looking for. What are you looking for? Yeah, that's not happening. So a handful of years ago, Tyson Crane was on the team. Now he's going to be returning, and he's going to be the starter here. $1.8 million. Now we just have to find one more player here, and I think it's going to be this guy right here. Wait, isn't this one of our goaltenders? I feel like this is one of our goaltenders. Honestly, at this point, I've completely lost track of who's on our team and who isn't on our team. But yeah, we're going to offer him a contract. Right now, he's an RFA, so that guy probably won't be joining our team. We could do keeping, though. So we'll do 2 years with keeping, $950K. He'll join the team. We just need somebody to play some minutes for us. I don't care who it is. So Darnell's still got some great hockey left in him. He's a 92 overall at 36 years old, but time is running out for him to break that record. He's got to win 2 Stanley Cups in the next 2 years. Then he's going to set the record for most Stanley Cups won by one player. We can't take any seasons off here. You just never know when Darnell's going to retire. I mean, granted, the only way he retires is basically just him retiring early, because he could play at this level for like another decade. If Darnell wanted to, he could play till he's 50 years old, but obviously Darnell's not going to play till he's 50 years old, or at least I don't think he will. But you know what? There's no point worrying about the future. Let's worry about the present. Let's worry about right now, and let's worry about what's going to happen this season. I can't express the heartbreak in words. 75 wins, a 75-6-1 record. We lost 7 games this season. Richmond, 210 points. He's dropped to 91 overall. Not only did we not win the Stanley Cup here, we won 1 game in the postseason. We won 1 game in the postseason. The Montreal Canadiens took us out in 5 games. We lost 7 games all season, and then we lost 4 of our first 5 postseason games. That happened. That really just happened. We're getting the 4th overall pick from Columbus, the 8th overall pick from the Washington Capitals, but none of that matters. That just happened. That really just happened. Lost 7 games in the regular season, lost 4 of 5 in the postseason. Like, I can't form words. I really can't form words to explain what happened there. That was ridiculous. And it looks like this draft is absolutely cooked. Like, the first overall pick was great and all that. The next 2 picks after that, mid. Incredibly mid. Okay, I gotta take it back because the 2nd overall pick dropped to 4. So yeah, maybe that's not too bad. He's only a 75 overall though. We're trading for the guy who went 1st overall. I'm telling you that right now. Rangers, where are you? I'm making that trade. So you give me that mediumly potential player who's an 81 overall, and I'll give you, what do you want? Like, I'll give you the 8th overall. I'll give you these draft picks right here. I doubt this is going to be enough, but you know what? When it comes to trade value, we're actually pretty close here. They're saying no. Who do we have that's becoming an RFA? Like, whoever's becoming an RFA is going to be traded away here. Bonnet, it looks like you're becoming an RFA, so yeah, we're going to trade you. We'll do a package like this. It's just going to be 1 for 1. They're going to be accepting it. So we got the 1st overall pick, and then maybe if we're lucky, there's going to be something good at number 8. Yeah, we're not even going to waste our time here. Actually, this guy was projected 6th. We're going to take a risk here. Didn't work out for us. Yeah, I'm just simulating the rest of the draft. That was painful. Okay, so Drake, I'm going to bring you back for 1 season. We have $15 million of cap space, so here's $4.8 million for 1 year. And then whoever's going to be the cheapest out of these 2 players right here is also going to be brought back. Mario, you want 3.8. Not really interested in that. Crane, what are you going to be looking for here? I want to do a 1-year deal. You know what? I'm not going to bring either of you guys back. We'll find a replacement in free agency. Okay, for some reason, this 92 overall has low league potential right now, so I'm assuming we're going to be able to sign him for less. Okay, never mind. He wants 16.6 million. I take that back. We're not signing him for less. However, we might still sign him though, just because he is becoming a UFA, and I don't really want to lose him for nothing. So how about we do $16 million for the next 7 years? That's still going to give us like $23 million to work with, so we can re-sign some other players. Like, keeping this defenseman on the team would probably be worth it, so we'll give him $14 million for the next 4 years. So yeah, Tony's going to be sticking around here, and I believe that's going to leave us with about $10 million to work with, so we could re-sign 1 player. This guy doesn't look like he's willing to accept 10, so he might be leaving the team. I mean, there is this young defenseman. Yeah, he's only an 82 overall. Best case scenario though, he has great development. That's a bit of a riskier deal, but you know we have to do it. Now, the team has certainly taken some hits over the years. Like, we have a 75 overall when it comes to our forward core here. That's just the way of the road. We've lost so many good pieces. You know what? We're just finding whatever we can. The defense is still looking amazing here. Goaltending is looking pretty solid as well. Why is our 90 overall not our number 1 defenseman? That doesn't make any sense. Like, the 94 overall should be up here. This guy's a better fit on the second pairing, hence he should play there. I don't know what the head coach preferred lines are cooking up, but they're not cooking anything right now. I'm fixing those lines. The boys are looking to win a Stanley Cup here. We got to get Darnell Richmond another. Now, similar to last season, we're going to be looking at 75 wins once again. We're getting close to 7 goals per game, and look at that amazing defense. There is no reason our defense should be this good. We scored 363 more goals than we allowed. Our goal differential was 363. Darnell Richmond's leading the way here, 223 points, 161 goals here. What are the gold numbers looking like now? 2,846, so just behind Wayne Gretzky for points. And Darnell, he's pushing 4,000 points here. He's over 1,000 assists now. We need 1 more season from Darnell. 1 more season from Darnell. We're hitting 4,000 points. We're hitting 3,000 goals. More goals than Wayne Gretzky has points. I need 1 more season from Darnell. 1 more good year here, and we're going to be setting records. And you know what? We actually tied a record this season. And what record am I talking about? Well, we just won another Stanley Cup. Darnell Richmond's picked up number 11. We need 1 more cup. 1 more cup for Darnell. He sets the record for most Stanley Cups. He'll have 3,000 goals, 4,000 points, one more season for Darnell. I need one more elite season from Darnell, and we're going to be setting records. We're getting the 11th overall pick from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Darnell, you got to give me one more. I just need one more from Darnell. Please don't retire on me. Why did you have to do that? Why did you do that, Darnell? Going down as the greatest player of all time. No player could even compete with what Darnell did. 1,640 games played, 2,846 goals, 1,030 assists for 3,876 points. Darnell was really him, the greatest player to ever touch the ice. And just look at this trophy case from Darnell. You'll never see anything like it ever again. 11 cups, 11 Conn Smythes, 16 Harts, 18 Ted Lindsays, 17 Art Rosses, 19 Maurice Rocket Richard trophies, 3 Frank Selkes, and then 8 Lady Bings. The greatest player to ever touch the ice, the greatest franchise you have ever seen. No, this team was unstoppable. We are really the greatest of all time. But Darnell, you couldn't just play for one more year. One more year, you crack 3,000 goals, you crack 4,000 points. You would have did something that we would never, ever, ever see again. Even if I create a new 99 overall player in the future, he'll never do what Darnell did. Darnell's one of one, and we'll never see him again. Also, shout out to Zach Benson, exactly 2,000 points.